Kloe used to be a genius hacker. A year ago, she was transported into the world of a trashy, melodramatic romance novel and became the 5-year-old daughter of the main character, Aara. As she walked down the alley toward her house, she saw a luxury car parked in front of their shabby door. She tilted her little head, a faint smile on her face. Finally, this part of the story. She'd been playing the part of an innocent little kid for a year now. This must be the part of the plot where they're taken in by the Quan family. Before she even stepped inside, she heard voices. Aara, I'm really your birth mother. The DNA test is right here. It's all my fault. You were only 5 years old, and I didn't watch you closely enough, and you were kidnapped. Please, give your mother a chance to make it up to you. Come home with me to the Quan family, to a better life. Your father, your brother, and your sister, they all miss you so much. In the original novel, the heroine, Aara, was born into poverty. To pay her gravely ill mother's medical bills, she entered the treacherous world of entertainment. Aiden Song, the industry's top mogul and the male lead, discovered that Aara looked just like his first love. He offered to pay a huge sum for her mother's treatment, but only if Aara agreed to be his contract lover. To save her mother, Aara signed the contract. In the brief time they spent together, she fell for the dangerous man. But their happiness was short-lived. Aiden's first love returned, and Aara's mother passed away from her illness. Devastated, the gentle-natured Aara decided to leave Aiden. She disappeared, running away while pregnant to give birth to her daughter, Kloe. Thinking of this, the coldness on Chloe's face melted away, replaced by the innocent look of a child as she toddled into the house. Hey, I'm home! My tummy's hungry, I want a snack! God, it's so embarrassing for an adult soul to have to act this cute. Mommy, who's this old lady? Aara quickly pulled Kloe to her side. Kloe, this is your grandma, she said softly. Be a good girl and say hello. Kloe obliged in a tiny voice. Hey, Grandma. Mrs. Quan struggled to maintain her wealthy socialite demeanor. Aara, this child is… Her name is Kloe. She's my daughter. She's 5, Aara said, clearly wanting to avoid the details of Chloe's birth. A painful memory for her. A look of pity crossed Mrs. Quan's face. Oh, you poor thing. You must have suffered so much all these years. Tomorrow I'll send a car to bring you home to the Quan family. No one will ever bully you again. She looked at Aara and Kloe with the perfect expression of a loving mother, bringing tears to Aara's eyes. Mrs. Quan patted Aara's hand affectionately. All right, dear, I'll go make the arrangements. Pack your things tonight. I have to go now. Take care. Aara nodded gently, her eyes full of longing as she walked her birth mother to the car. The moment the car door closed, the loving smile on Mrs. Quan's face vanished. Mommy, are we really going to Grandma's house? She seems kind of mean, Kloe said, trying to find a way to warn her mother that the Quan family was a snake pit. Aara smiled. Kloe, she's my mother. I want to go back and be with her and my family. Kloe tried a different approach. Mommy, is Grandma's family really rich? Very rich. They're quite well known in Veridia, Aara said with a sigh. She never imagined that the Quan family she sometimes saw on TV was her own. Kloe tilted her cute little head, feigning confusion. Mommy, if Grandma's family is so rich, why didn't they find us sooner? I'm already 5 and she's only just showing up now. Aara just stroked Chloe's head, a saintly, gentle glow in her eyes. Kloe, she's my mother. What mother would ever harm her own child? Kloe was speechless. A frustrated sigh caught in her chest. Mom, with that trusting personality of yours, you'd walk right into any trap someone sets. No wonder you get treated so horribly in the novel. In the original story, Mrs. Quan pretended to want Aara back in the family, but she was really planning to marry her off to a greasy, middle-aged tycoon for business. The naive Aara fell for it and was forced to marry the man, who was in his 40s. She was quickly tormented to death, and her young daughter Kloe starved to death. I can't let that tragedy happen. It looked like saving the tragic heroine was all up to her, and if she got the chance, Kloe also planned to find her jerk dad and teach him a lesson. Early the next morning, the car arrived to take the mother and daughter to Veridia. The driver spoke respectfully. Miss, feel free to get some rest. It will be several hours before we arrive in Veridia. Kloe asked with a sad little pout. Mr. Driver, do Grandma and the others really like me and Mommy? The driver paused for a second, remembering Mrs. Quan's instructions, then nodded quickly. Of course. You're her daughter. She was so happy to find her long-lost child. The whole Quan family is excited to welcome you back. Kloe pouted her lips. If Grandma likes Mommy and me so much, why didn't she send a plane to pick us up? I saw on TV that it only takes 2 hours to get to Veridia by plane. The driver was surprised a 5-year-old would ask such a question. Maybe the tickets were all sold out. Flights to Veridia are very popular. Oh, I see, Kloe said, glancing at her mother. I've dropped all the hints I can. Surely you have to realize something is wrong now, Mom. After a long journey, they finally arrived in Veridia. A servant led Aara and Kloe into the dining room. "Oh, Aara," Mrs. Quan exclaimed with delight, taking Alara's hand. She pretended not to see the 5-year-old baggage, Kloe. Kloe just shrugged, giving Mrs. Quan space to play the loving mother. She toddled over to the Quan family's eldest son, Ethan, raised her little arms and chirped, "Hi, Uncle." Kloe remembered every detail from the novel. The Quan family was full of bad people, and the only decent one was this uncle of hers, Ethan. Plus, he was going to become a billionaire CEO, super rich. She had to get on his good side. Ethan looked down at her big, watery eyes, so cute and endearing, reminding him of someone. A soft spot in his heart was touched, and he bent down to lift Kloe onto his lap. "What's your name?" Kloe blinked her big eyes and answered sweetly, "My name is Kloe. You can call me your first love." Her adorable, bright voice made Ethan smile. "You're only a few years old and you already know about first loves? I learned it from TV," Kloe said innocently. "A first love is the first person you like. Uncle, do you have a first love?" Ethan paused, a smile flashing in his eyes. "What do you think?" Kloe giggled. "Of course I know you have a first love," she thought. "It's that famous gamer and streamer kid. But in the near future, your parents are going to do everything they can to stop you from being with him." "Mom, Dad, is my sister Aara back?" The dining room door opened, and the third daughter of the Quan family, Iris, walked in cheerfully. She had just turned 18, beautiful and graceful, with the air of a high society lady. "Aara, let me introduce you. This is your younger sister, Iris," Mrs. Quan said, her face lighting up with a loving smile as she eagerly made the introduction. "It's so nice to meet you, sister. You're so pretty. I was worried you'd have had a hard time in the countryside," Iris said with a fake innocence. "Sister, why didn't my brother-in-law come today? I only see my little niece. Chloe's father passed away a long time ago," Aara said dismissively, not wanting to talk about him. She might be naive, but she could already feel the malice coming from her sister. Iris forced a gentle smile and changed the subject. "Mom, my niece is 5. She'll need to go to school here in Veridia. Have you picked out a kindergarten for her?" Kloe chewed on her food, thinking, here we go, the kindergarten plotline. To prevent the scandal of an unwed mother from tainting their reputation, the Quans planned to separate Aara and her daughter. They pretended to be kind and found a prestigious kindergarten for Kloe. After sending Kloe there, Mrs. Quan would arrange for Aara to meet with a Mr. Lee. The school wasn't prestigious at all, it was more like a prison. In just a few days, Kloe was starved until she was pale and thin. Mrs. Quan then used this to blackmail Aara, saying Kloe could only leave the school if Aara agreed to marry Mr. Lee. Remembering the awful plot, Kloe sighed. "The kindergarten is the start of the tragedy. I have to stop it." "I've already chosen one. It's called Royal Kindergarten," Mrs. Quan said with a smile, taking Alara's hand. "Aara, Kloe is 5 now. We can't neglect her education." Iris chimed in. "That's right, sister. Chloe's still young. She should make some friends. Other kids her age are already learning English. We can't have her still playing in the mud, can we?" "Aara, listen to your mother," Mrs. Quan said, putting on her best caring mother act. "I've owed you for 19 years. All I want to do now is make it up to you." Aara looked moved. It was smart, but she did need to spend more time with other children instead of always being cooped up inside playing computer games. Kloe pouted, her cute, chubby face scrunching up. "Uncle, I don't want to go to kindergarten. I want to play with you." A seed of doubt was planted in Ethan's mind. He knew his parents were business-minded people who valued profit above all else. His mother, Mrs. Quan, especially looked down on women she considered immoral. His sister had been missing for 19 years, and he'd never once heard his mother mention looking for her. But now she was acting all warm and caring. It was too strange. He usually stayed out of family matters, but this time it seemed he needed to investigate. Iris took Kloe to see the room they had prepared for her. Kloe played her part perfectly, letting out a little wow and flopping onto the bed, hugging a teddy like she'd never seen anything so amazing. Such a pretty teddy. Inside she was cringing. "Teddy? Are you kidding me? I'm not actually 5. A new sports car, a credit card with no limit, a top-of-the-line computer, that was more her style. Iris scoffed internally. This little brat from the countryside is so easy to fool. A few teddies and she's mesmerized. Little does she know her good days are numbered. "Kloe, do you know who your father is?" Chloe's big, dark eyes darted around before she lowered her voice conspiratorially. "Auntie, I'll tell you a secret, but you can't tell anyone else, okay? My mommy said my daddy is a deep-sea diver." Iris was surprised. The kid's father actually had a real job. She'd assumed he was some gangster or a bum from a bar. "Good girl, Kloe. Tell Auntie, where does your daddy live now?" Kloe answered with a very serious expression. My daddy lives in the sea. Mommy said he's the best deep sea diver in the world. Other divers go down for a little while and come back up, but my daddy has been diving in the sea for 5 years and still hasn't come up yet. A muscle in Iris's face twitched as she fought the urge to curse. What a ridiculous lie. It was obviously something Aara made up to shut the kid up. That cunning woman had no intention of revealing the father's identity. She didn't want to spend another second with the little brat and made an excuse to leave. Alone in the pink-themed room, Kloe's childish expression vanished. She lazily typed on a keyboard and quickly found information on Royal Kindergarten. It was a little-known private school in Veridia with a rundown campus, irresponsible teachers, and terrible conditions. She hopped off the chair, opened her little backpack, and took out a thin, modified laptop. A message from B popped up. Boss, I found the info on Aiden's song. He really is a top entertainment mogul. A lot of his info is classified. I've compiled it all and sent it to your email. Check it when you can. She typed back a quick good job. But B had more questions. Boss, what have you been up to lately? You haven't been online in ages. Kloe shot back a simple reply. Getting ready for kindergarten. B was incredulous. I'm not a kid, boss. Don't mess with me. With your top-tier computer skills and tough-as-nails personality, there's no way you haven't even started kindergarten yet. Kloe shrugged. She was telling the truth, but of course her subordinates wouldn't believe her. At 9 p.m., Aara told Kloe it was time for bed. Mommy, this computer is so much fun, Kloe said, sitting on a small chair, her little hands randomly tapping the keyboard. Aara bent down to carry her to bed, but Kloe clung to her neck reluctantly. As she did, her foot accidentally hit the keyboard, and the screen switched to a page about Royal Kindergarten. Aara carried her to the bed. You go to sleep first, Kloe. Mommy will turn off the computer. When she walked back to the desk, she saw the school's information page on the screen. It was the kindergarten Mrs. Quan had mentioned. The more she read, the more her heart sank, and her mother's words from that afternoon echoed in her mind. The teaching quality at this school is excellent. The Quan family even has investments in it. The tuition is over $500,000 a year. You want to see the school? No rush, no rush. We'll go after I've introduced you to all our relatives. Don't worry, Kloe is my granddaughter. What kind of grandmother wouldn't dote on her own grandchild? It was like a bucket of ice water had been dumped over her head, instantly clearing her thoughts. Suddenly, Kloe mumbled, Mommy, you grown-ups love playing on the computer. Auntie Iris was playing on this one this afternoon, and she asked me who my daddy was. Aara's expression changed instantly. Iris used this computer? That explains the browsing history. And she asked Kloe who her father was? She gently asked Kloe, what else did Auntie Iris say? Tell Mommy. Kloe cheered silently. Mom, your brain is finally working. Let me think. Auntie also called me a little bastard and said my being here would ruin the Quan family's plans. Kloe tilted her head, her face a mask of innocence. Mommy, what's a bastard? Is it something you can eat? Kloe was an expert at adding fuel to the fire. A 5-year-old wouldn't lie, right? As expected, the gentleness on Aara's face slowly faded. Kloe, you go to sleep now. Mommy won't let anyone hurt you. Okay, Mommy, you should sleep early too, Kloe said, lifting her chin to give Aara a peck on the cheek. Meanwhile, Mrs. Quan was on the phone with Mr. Lee. My eldest daughter, Aara, just came back to the country. I sent you her picture. What do you think? Mr. Lee roared with laughter. I like her very much. Mrs. Quan, I want to marry your eldest daughter. Don't you worry, we'll be family soon, and I'll be sure to help you out in business. The Lee family's company was well known in Veridia. If they could form an alliance with them, the Quan family's business would soar. The thought excited Mrs. Quan. Then I'll arrange for you two to meet tomorrow. We'll be one big, happy family. After hanging up, her eyes gleamed with excitement. Iris tilted her head, holding a teacup. That's more like it. Mr. Lee is old, ugly, fat, and a pervert. Since my sister is already a mother, she's a perfect match for him. With the marriage alliance almost secured, Mrs. Quan was in a good mood. Iris, you're at the right age too. You should start thinking about marriage. I've been looking around lately, and the Chung family in Veridia seems like a good choice. Mom, I don't want to marry into the Chung family, Iris pouted. If I have to choose, I'll choose Aiden's song. He's an entertainment mogul with a billion-dollar fortune, and most importantly, he's single and handsome. Mrs. Quan nodded. She had heard of Mr. Song's reputation. He was indeed a very desirable marriage prospect. She would have to find a way for them to meet and get to know each other. The next morning, Mrs. Quan instructed Aara, Today, I'll take Kloe to see the kindergarten. You can go with your father to the company and get to know our family business. Aara sat at the dining table, distracted. Mom, I'll go with Kloe to the kindergarten today. Mrs. Quan cut her off. Don't you go. Taking Kloe to kindergarten is a small matter. Familiarizing yourself with the company is what's important. Go take a look, and in a while, I'll give you a portion of the Quan family's shares. Mom, I happen to be free today. The door opened, and Ethan, dressed in sharp casual clothes, walked in. I can go with Kloe to the kindergarten. He had felt uneasy all night, sensing that something wasn't right. Mrs. Quan's eyes darted around. She definitely couldn't let Ethan go and see the kindergarten. Just then, a loud crash came from upstairs, followed by Kloe's wailing. Aara's face went pale, and she shot up the stairs without thinking. In the pink princess room, shattered glass littered the floor, and the thick smell of blood filled the air. Poor little Kloe was on the ground, red beads of blood welling up from her white foot as she cried her heart out. Standing next to her was a stunned Iris. Seeing this, Aara almost fainted, her heart leaping into her throat. Kloe, don't be scared! Mommy's taking you to the doctor! What happened? Ethan followed them up and saw the blood on the floor. His gaze turned icy as he questioned his sister. Iris looked helpless. She had just gone to wake Kloe up, but the little girl wouldn't get up, insisting on a hug first. But then a sudden sharp pain shot through her arm and she instinctively let go. At the same time, the vase on the bedside table suddenly fell and shattered. Faced with her brother's questioning, Iris was afraid of being misunderstood. I don't know. The vase just fell. Kloe sobbed. Uncle, it's not Auntie's fault. I was just clumsy. Aara lowered her head. It was probably just an accident. It's my fault for not watching her properly. Ethan's heart sank. There could be glass in her foot. I'll drive you to a nearby hospital. Aara's fingers trembled, her face ashen. Thank you, big brother. After they left, Mrs. Quan said disapprovingly, Iris, even if you can't stand that little bastard, there will be plenty of chances to deal with her later. Aara doesn't fully trust us yet. A stunt like this will not only make her suspicious, but also upset your brother and your father. This time, Iris felt truly wronged. She stomped her foot in frustration. Mom, I didn't do it. It was really an accident this time. I wouldn't go after a little kid. Mrs. Quan sighed. All right, I'll have someone clean up the room. When your sister gets back, you need to apologize to her and make sure it's sincere. Fine, Iris agreed reluctantly. Meanwhile, Ethan drove them to the hospital. Kloe's foot really hurt. To make her sweet but naive mother see the Quan family's true colors, she had gone to great lengths. Ethan suddenly asked, Kloe, tell your uncle, did you really hurt yourself by accident? Kloe sobbed. I was just clumsy. It has nothing to do with Auntie. Inside, she was thinking, come on, uncle, ask a few more questions. I can keep this up. Ethan gripped the steering wheel, his voice low. Kloe, tell me the truth. Don't be afraid. Uncle will stand up for you. In the original novel, the sweet Aara was framed by Iris time and time again because Iris was a master at playing the victim. She always managed to fool Aara, who would end up taking the fall for her. Now that Kloe was here, she wouldn't let that happen. I can't say. If I tell, Mommy won't like me anymore. Mommy, I'm not a bastard. I want to be separated from you. I don't want a new daddy. Auntie said I was dirty and she pushed me on the floor. Aara froze, feeling as if all the blood in her body had turned to ice. Kloe cried until her throat was sore. Her acting was incredible. She had never cried in her past life, but today she'd shed a lifetime's worth of tears. Bastard, tramp, new daddy. Those 3 words were enough to paint a clear picture. The Quan family's welcome was not what it seemed. They looked down on Aara and Kloe and were only putting on an act for some ulterior motive. Aara was trembling with anger. Big brother, are you in on this with them? Ethan turned the wheel, guiding the deep blue luxury car into the hospital parking lot. I won't hurt you. Inside the hospital, a doctor quickly examined Kloe. You parents need to be more careful. A beautiful child like this. If the glass had hurt her eyes or scarred her face, it would have ruined her for life. Aara choked back a sob and thanked him. Then she brought up the kindergarten with her brother. Mrs. Quan said Royal is the best kindergarten in Veridia, but the information I found says it's the worst. If Kloe hadn't gotten hurt today, she would have been sent there. Your family obviously looks down on me, so why did you bring me back? And to think she had believed she finally had family she could rely on. Ethan found it hard to believe his family would target a sweet 5-year-old child. Don't go back to the Quan house for now. I have plenty of empty rooms in my apartment. You and Kloe can stay there. Aara's eyes dimmed. Okay. She decided that once Kloe's foot was better, she would take her back to their small town. It was peaceful there, free from the scheming of the big city. Suddenly, her phone rang. The caller ID read, Mrs. Quan. Ethan was decisive. Don't burn bridges with my mother yet. The Quan family has influence in Veridia. If you make enemies of them, it won't be easy for you and Kloe to get away safely. Aara nodded and answered the phone. On the other end, Mrs. Quan's anxious voice came through. Aara, how's Kloe? It's all my fault for being careless. I've already had the servants clean the room and lay down carpets everywhere. I promise Kloe won't get hurt again. Such a gentle, caring mother. Except now, Aara wasn't so easily fooled. Kloe has a few glass shards in her foot. The doctor said she can't walk for a while, so I'm planning to let her stay in the hospital today. That's fine. You take good care of her, don't overwork yourself, Mrs. Quan said lovingly. Oh, and one more thing. Our relatives heard you were back and are all so excited. I'll take you to meet them tomorrow. Aara cut the call short with a single sentence. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I need to take care of Kloe now. Mrs. Quan's smile faded. She had a nagging feeling that Aara was catching on. She had to arrange the meeting with Mr. Lee as soon as possible. The next morning, Ethan brought them to his apartment. Aara, you and Kloe can stay on the second floor. I've already had the rooms prepared. You can stay as long as you like. Kloe noticed another room on the second floor with its door slightly ajar. Inside, it was filled with Ultraman figures. She blinked her big eyes and asked curiously, Uncle, is that Ultraman in that room? Do you like Ultraman? Ethan saw the open door and walked over to close it. That's a friend's room. He stays over sometimes. Kloe propped her chin on her hand and said slyly, A friend? Oh, I get it. It must be my auntie, right? Aara smiled. Kloe, don't talk nonsense. Ethan coughed lightly, neither confirming nor denying it. Of course Kloe knew. This room was for Kid. But in the novel, after the Quan family found out about their secret relationship, they interfered and caused Kid's death. And so Kloe stayed home to recover, while Ethan was busy with work. After making lunch, Aara secretly went to the so-called royal kindergarten to see it for herself. But on her way back, a car blocked her path, and Mrs. Quan got out. Aara, I was just on my way to find you. What a coincidence to run into you here. Do you remember your second uncle? He doted on you the most when you were little. When he heard you were back, he was so emotional he cried, saying the ancestors were watching over our family. Your second uncle and the others are all here tonight. Come with me to see them. Aara didn't want to talk to Mrs. Quan. I need to go to the hospital to get medicine for Kloe. Her foot still hasn't healed. Mrs. Quan maintained her kind expression. It's all my fault she got hurt. Aara, please don't blame me. I just want to make it up to you. You're my own flesh and blood. Are you really going to doubt your own mother? Aara hesitated, and Mrs. Quan managed to half persuade, half drag her into the car. Kloe was enjoying some rare alone time, curled up in her room playing on the computer. Time flew by, and when the sunlight streaming through the window turned golden, she realized it was already dusk. Aara went to the suburbs to check out that kindergarten. She should have been home by now. She stood still for a second, her expression changing. She quickly grabbed her phone and called Aara. The number you have dialed has been turned off. Kloe smacked her forehead in frustration. According to the original plot, Aara was probably about to be sold off by the Quan family to that greasy Mr. Lee. She quickly called Ethan. Uncle, Mommy's missing. She said she was going to check out the kindergarten this afternoon, but she's still not back. Uncle, I miss my mommy. Tears welled up in her eyes, though inwardly she was fuming. If I weren't a 5-year-old, I'd be rescuing her with a tank by now. Why did I have to be reborn as a little kid who can't do anything but cry and act cute? Don't worry. Ethan's voice was calm. I'm on my way. Kloe nodded obediently. According to the original story, Mrs. Quan would burst into the room with a group of people, pretending to catch Aara and Mr. Lee in a compromising position. Aara's reputation would be ruined, and under pressure from all sides, she would be forced to marry him. A dozen minutes later, Ethan's men located Mrs. Quan at the Empire Hotel. Ethan looked at Kloe gently. Uncle is going to find your mom. You be a good girl and wait in the car. Don't go anywhere, understand? Kloe blinked and nodded sweetly. Worried, Ethan locked the car and hurried into the hotel with his assistant. What is my mother doing bringing Aara to a hotel? As soon as they were gone, there was a soft click. The locked car door opened. Kloe got out, limping slightly, and muttered to herself, Uncle, you should never lock a kid in a car. It's not safe. She limped to the nearest luxury elevator and stood on her tiptoes, trying to press the button for the 30th floor. She remembered from the novel that Mrs. Quan had caught a disheveled Aara with Mr. Lee on the 30th floor. But she was too short. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't reach it. Little girl, are you here by yourself? Just as Kloe was getting frustrated, 2 men in suits walked into the elevator. One of them, who looked like an assistant, noticed the adorable little girl and asked kindly. Kloe looked up. I'm going to the 30th floor to find my mommy, but I can't reach the button. Here, let me help you, the assistant said, pressing the button for her. Just as Kloe was about to thank him, she caught a glimpse of the man standing beside him who hadn't said a word. Kloe's mouth formed a perfect O. This man, who radiated a don't touch me vibe, was none other than Aiden's song from the files, the clueless male lead from the novel, her jerk dad. She pouted inwardly. stepped forward, and tugged on Aiden's sleeve. "Tall mister, have you seen my mommy?" The assistant quickly pulled Kloe's hand away. "Little one, our CEO is a bit of a germaphobe. Please don't pull on his clothes." Kloe rolled her eyes. The heroine is sweet but naive, and the male lead is completely clueless. In the novel, Aiden had nearly drowned as a child and was saved by someone. He always believed his savior was the villainous, Serafina Cheng, and he doted on her, even hurting Aara for her sake. But in a cruel twist of fate, the one who had actually saved him was Aara. Ding! The elevator arrived at the 20th floor, and Aiden and his assistant got out. Kloe perked up her ears and heard Aiden say, "Have a new suit sent up." Kloe ground her teeth. "Just you wait, jerk dad. I'll deal with you when I have time." The elevator continued up, soon reaching the 30th floor. Kloe limped out, unsure if her uncle had found Aara yet. As she walked, she heard rapid footsteps behind her. Her heart leaped. Is that Uncle? Before she could turn around, a tall shadow fell over her. The man stopped short and looked down at her. "Kid, where's your mother?" The voice was clear and pleasant, but it wasn't her uncle's. "I'm looking for my mommy, but I can't find her." Kloe blinked and tears instantly welled up in her eyes. The young man's face grew darker. "Damn it," he muttered, though it was unclear who he was cursing. Just then, the hotel manager rushed over. "Young master, we found it. Mrs. Quan booked room 3019. She's meeting with Mr. Lee from the Lee family today to discuss business." The moment he spoke, Kloe knew who the handsome young man was. He had to be the Chung family's only official heir, Kai Cheng. The novel didn't say much about him, only that he was caught in his family's power struggles and died young at the hands of one of his father's illegitimate sons. Kai rushed toward room 3019. "Watch this kid, don't let her wander off." The manager wiped sweat from his forehead. "Don't worry, young master." Kloe stood there, stunned. It seemed like this young master wanted to save Aara. But what was the connection between Kai and Aara? They were complete strangers. She didn't remember this part from the novel. Was it a hidden plot point? Kai couldn't believe how clueless Aara was. She had actually gotten into Mrs. Quan's car and been brought here to meet Mr. Lee. Did having a kid make her lose her mind? He burst into the room and heard whimpering from the large bed. Aara, still partially conscious, was struggling and begging, but the man on top of her just laughed mockingly. Kai's eyes widened, a nameless rage burning inside him. He crossed the room in 3 strides, yanked the portly man off the bed, and kicked him away. He quickly covered Aara with a blanket, his voice unusually gentle. "It's okay. You're safe." Nothing happened. Mr. Lee, who had been drinking, started cursing. "Who the hell dares to ruin my fun?" Kai's voice dropped. "You pathetic excuse for a man." Mr. Lee froze, swallowing his curses. This was the young master of the Chung family, someone he couldn't afford to offend. He tried to explain. "Young Master Chung, this is my fiancé. It's all a misunderstanding. Mommy, I finally found you." Kloe limped into the room. Seeing that her mother's clothes were mostly intact, she breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness nothing serious happened. She held out her arms, looking pitiful. "Mommy, I'm hungry." The sweet, childish voice was like a ray of sunshine, chasing away the darkness in Aara's world. Her child was her hope. Aara quickly wiped her tears. "It's okay, Kloe. Mommy will take you to get something to eat soon." She couldn't believe Mrs. Quan had used family ties to trick her into the car and drug her. "Why is Mommy crying?" Kloe used her little hands to clumsily wipe away the tears. "Is Mommy hungry too? I'll share my snack with you later, so don't cry, Mommy." Mr. Lee's eyes widened in disbelief. "You have a child?" Mrs. Quan had told him her eldest daughter was pure and innocent, raised abroad, and knew nothing of the world. Aara ignored Mr. Lee and, holding Kloe, turned to Kai. "Thank you. I'll find a way to repay you." Kai raised an eyebrow, finding her tone unfamiliar. "You don't remember me?" Before he could finish, a commotion of footsteps sounded from outside. Mrs. Quan's angry voice rang out. "Aara is just a gold digger who deliberately seduced Mr. Lee. She came from the countryside, so of course she'd try to climb the social ladder when she sees a rich man. How could I stop her? Look, Mr. Lee and Aara are still on their date." The rest of her words died in her throat. She was shocked to see that little brat Kloe here. And the young master of the Chung family? Why was he here too? Ethan felt a huge weight lift from his shoulders. "Aara, you're okay. You scared me." Kloe chirped. "Uncle, you're so slow. I found Mommy before you did. I'm awesome, right?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Kloe, didn't I tell you to wait in the car?" Kloe just giggled. Kai suddenly ordered the manager, "Call the police. There's been an attempted assault here. We have witnesses and evidence." The manager nodded quickly. "Yes, young master, right away." Mr. Lee shouted his innocence. "It was Mrs. Quan who told me she wanted to marry her eldest daughter to me. She's my fiancé. Is that a crime?" Kloe suddenly piped up. Mommy, are you engaged to this ugly mister? I don't like him. He looks like a piece of fat, and I don't like fat. Mr. Lee's face contorted with rage. You little brat! Who are you calling fat? Mommy isn't going to find you a new daddy, Aara said, stroking Kloe's face gently. Kloe, be a good girl and go home and wait for Mommy. Okay, Mommy, come home soon, Kloe said obediently, letting Ethan carry her out. With the 5-year-old gone, the atmosphere in the room grew tense again. Kai resumed his role as the heir of a major corporation. I was inspecting the hotel's infrastructure today when I passed this room and heard a cry for help. I opened the door and discovered this crime in progress. He turned to Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, you can explain yourself to the police. As for Miss Aara, I suggest she get a blood test. She may have ingested something. Aara nodded slightly. I'll cooperate. I was forced. Forced? You were willing! Mrs. Quan shrieked, still trying to maintain her dignified facade. Aara, you were the one who told me you wanted to marry a rich man. Don't call the police. This is a family matter. She couldn't let the Quan family's reputation be ruined. Aara's eyes were red, but her voice was calmer than ever. Mom, do you really see me as your daughter? Was the water you gave me in the car really safe? Why did I feel dizzy and weak after drinking it? You said you were taking me to meet relatives, but you brought me to a strange man's bed. You only brought me back to use me, didn't you? Mr. Lee quickly added, This isn't my fault. Mrs. Quan said her eldest daughter liked my type. I was set up. When I got to this room, she was already lying on the bed. An older man in the group tried to mediate. Young Master Chung, let's not be hasty with the police. This is all a misunderstanding. Kai said nothing. The old Quan family elder smiled benevolently. Aara, you are a Quan. We share the same honor and shame. If this gets out, it will be bad for both the Quan and Lee families. Why don't we just resolve this quietly? Aara shot back. If you care so much about the family's interests, why don't you marry your own granddaughter to Mr. Lee? The old man's face soured. Mr. Lee was over 40 and ugly. He would never marry his precious granddaughter to such a man. Aara, on the other hand, had a child out of wedlock. A woman who had given birth was worthless, so marrying Mr. Lee was no great loss. Kai looked at Aara, trying to see a hint of someone else in her face, but found nothing. Maybe her acting was just that good. Aara was too gentle, not clever or cunning, possessing only a stubbornness that could be called a virtue. Did I get the wrong person, Kai wondered? But the IP address I tracked led straight to Alara's house. In this world, only one person has such incredible hacking skills. Aara crossed her arms. Call the police. Thank you for your help, young Master Chung. A small smile played on Kai's lips. Mrs. Quan stared at Aara in disbelief, the last shred of her loving mother persona finally torn away. You are a Quan. You have Quan blood in your veins. Can't you be a little more forgiving and let this go for the sake of both families? Aara didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. They say a mother and child share a special bond, that a mother will always love her child. But with Mrs. Quan, all she saw was coldness, self-interest, and vanity. This woman didn't deserve to be her mother. Kai made the call. No one dared to stop him. Aara and Ethan didn't return until late that night. Kloe was already asleep. The Quan and Lee families had pulled some strings behind the scenes. Mr. Lee was charged with attempted assault, which would get him a month in jail at most. Aara hung her head. It's fine. I don't have power or influence. I can't fight them. At least now I see the Quan family for who they are. Chloe's foot is almost healed. I'm going to take her back to our town. It's too dangerous here. I don't want her to get hurt. Ethan shook his head. Aara, your house in town, the Quan family already sold it. What? It's my house. How could they be so cruel? Aara was stunned, her hands clenching into fists. They had gone too far. Ethan took a sip of tea. Aara, you and Kloe should stay with me for now. I'll have people protect you. Once things quiet down, I'll help you find a way to leave. Aara asked softly, Brother, why is your relationship with the family so strained? It was something she had been wondering. Ethan was the eldest son, yet he had consistently sided with her. Ethan raised an eyebrow. They're dirty. I don't like it. My father only cares about profit. My mother has a lover on the side. And my sister Iris is a schemer who loves to play the victim. A bright smile spread across Chloe's face. They sold my house, and the guy only got a month in jail? I'm not going to let you get away with this. Meanwhile, the Quan family was in chaos. We never should have brought her back. Mrs. Quan glanced at her hypocritical husband, her still beautiful face filled with disdain. I was the one who suggested bringing Aara back, but you didn't object. Now that the plan has failed, you're blaming me? Besides, the Lee family was never the best choice for an alliance. We could try for the Song family. Iris is interested in Aiden's song after all. Mr. Quan's interest was piqued. Mr. Song? How is that possible? Just then, the butler rushed in. Madam Sir, bad news. The internet is suddenly flooded with scandals about the Lee Group. It's being reported that Mr. Lee has been arrested for 18 crimes, including bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. The couple stared in shock. The Quan and Lee families had extensive business dealings. If something happened to the Lee family, the Quan family's business would undoubtedly suffer. Mrs. Quan was furious. Then why haven't you contacted our people to get these negative stories taken down? The butler wrung his hands, looking helpless. There's too much information. It's impossible to delete it all. Who leaked this? Mrs. Quan fumed. Mr. Quan's eyes glinted coldly. It's no use finding the source now. The fact that the TV stations are reporting it means someone powerful is involved. Mrs. Quan, call a board meeting immediately. We need to cut our ties with the Lee family and distance ourselves completely. Mrs. Quan found it strange. Mr. Lee had just crossed Aara, and now the Lee family was being hit with a massive scandal. Was someone defending Aara? Impossible. Aara had no background or influence, aside from Ethan. It had to be a coincidence. Mr. Lee was probably just too arrogant and made other enemies who decided to strike now. At the Cheng family estate in Veridia, the scent of coffee filled the air. Kai stood with his arms crossed, his handsome eyes narrowed in thought. The high-end computer in front of him was working furiously, trying to trace an IP address. That special informant had appeared again. Shortly after, the internet was flooded with internal documents from the Lee family. After dumping the massive amount of information, the informant vanished. Kai had tried to track them immediately, but could only briefly pinpoint the area where the IP had appeared. The last time the IP address he tracked was in a small, peaceful town, the same town where Aara lived. Was it her again? Kai couldn't figure it out. An image of Aara appeared in his mind. A slender, gentle, fragile woman. No matter how he looked at her, he couldn't see the cunning shadow of the other person. Was her acting just that good? That person wasn't just a top hacker. They were also a master of disguise. Before he was transmigrated, he had tracked them for years, always believing they were a man. It was only after a fateful night that Kai was shocked to discover she had been cross-dressing the entire time. He looked down, lost in thought, and took a sip of his cold coffee. Just then, his assistant spoke up. Young master, it seems KL Cheng is making moves again. He might be targeting you. Kai's eyes narrowed. Find some people and teach him a lesson he won't forget. The assistant's face lit up. Ever since the kidnapping years ago, the young master had become a completely different person. Decisive and ruthless, putting all the disobedient members of the clan in their place. He was amazing. I didn't think there'd be a firewall this good in this world. I almost got caught, Kloe said in the small apartment, rubbing her nose. She stretched and closed her laptop. With the Lee family taken down, the Quan family probably wouldn't dare to try anything for a while. Aara would have some peace and quiet. But a few days later, Kloe was sent to an ordinary kindergarten. I need a very cute student to answer, what is 3 plus 2? The student who answers correctly will get a little red flower. The teacher, Ms. Lee, announced. The kids in the class erupted, waving their hands in the air, hoping to be picked. Ms. Lee smiled at the lively children, her eyes landing on Kloe. She was the new girl, fair-skinned and adorable, but a little quiet. Let's ask our cutest Kloe to answer the question. What is 3 plus 2? Kloe kept a straight face. I want to grow up so badly. You can do it, Kloe. You'll get it right, her desk mate, a chubby 5-year-old boy, whispered, pumping his fist in encouragement. I plus 2's 5, Kloe answered. Ms. Lee's face lit up with an exaggerated expression. That's correct. Kloe is so smart. A little red flower for Kloe. Everyone, let's clap for her. Wow, Kloe, you're so smart, the chubby boy said, his face full of admiration. Every day at kindergarten was torture. Finally, the weekend arrived. Kloe slept in until 10 a.m. Aara had left a note by her bed saying she had an emergency meeting at work and that a babysitter would come to make lunch, reminding Kloe not to wander off. Only little kids wander off. Kloe hopped out of bed and was about to go downstairs when she heard a noise from one of the rooms. She toddled over, pushed open the slightly ajar door, and asked curiously, Who's in there? Is that my auntie? The tall gaming chair swiveled around, and the noodles in the young man's mouth fell back into the instant ramen cup. He had curly, light brown hair and looked to be about 17 or 18. He put down the cup and rushed over. Ethan wasn't lying. His niece really is adorable, like a little kitten. If I'd known you were this cute, I would have skipped the streamer convention and come to see you sooner. The young man was clearly a chatterbox, words spilling out of him the moment he saw Kloe. Kloe rubbed her ears. This guy is so loud. I'm hungry. I want a steamed bun, Kloe said, rubbing her tummy and looking up at him. Hey, little one, I've got some bread here. Want some? Leo Lin was clearly taken aback by the auntie comment. Also, I'm not your auntie. I'm your uncle's friend. Besides, aunties are girls and I'm a boy. You should call me Big Brother Leo, got it? Chloe's cheeks puffed out, her big, dark eyes darting around. Big Brother Leo, do you like my uncle? Leo sat back down in his chair. Of course. Ethan's my best friend. I definitely like my best friend. Kloe asked, if you like my uncle, why can't you be my auntie? My teacher at kindergarten said that if two people like each other, they can get married. Leo nearly choked. What is this kid thinking? That's friendship, pure friendship, understand? He said after a moment, trying to sound serious. Kloe, there are different kinds of like. My feelings for your uncle are friendship, not love. And don't you dare say this to him. I'm a straight guy. What if he gets the wrong idea? In the original novel, Ethan was a tragic character. He kept his feelings for Leo hidden, never expressing them. Leo suddenly picked Kloe up. Kloe, want to play a game? Chloe's eyes lit up. Yeah, Leo grinned. I'll teach you. Kloe rested her hands on the desk, watching Leo play. This is how you teleport back to base. This is where you buy items. Got it, Kloe? Kloe nodded. Got it. I want to play around. Leo didn't believe her. All right, but don't let your uncle find out. I'll set you up with a bot match first, something easy. Just then, the door creaked open, and Ethan's cool voice drifted in. What are you two doing? Leo slammed the laptop shut, and both of them turned around. Leo immediately rushed over to him. Nothing. Ethan, you're finally back. I have a streamer awards show next Saturday. Will you come shopping with me for a new outfit? Kloe, you should come too. I don't feel right leaving you home alone. Kloe shook her head. No, I'm not going. I'd just be a third wheel. All right then, Ethan said. Be good at home and listen to the babysitter. Kloe watched the two of them from the balcony. Suddenly, a camera flash glinted from the bushes below. Kloe narrowed her eyes. Someone was taking pictures of Ethan and Leo. It seemed the Quan family was about to find out about Ethan's feelings. They were old-fashioned and would never allow him to have feelings for another man. They would definitely try to stop it. In the original novel, a female singer tearfully claimed that Leo had harassed her at the awards show and even leaked their chat logs. In the chats, Leo's wholesome image was shattered by lewd and disgusting messages. With a hidden hand pushing the narrative, Leo became a public enemy overnight. He tried to defend himself, saying his phone had been stolen and he hadn't sent the messages, but no one believed him. The streaming company he was signed with quickly terminated his contract, stating they would not work with a streamer of questionable character. The final blow came when a former fan brutally broke Leo's arm. He could no longer play video games, a devastating blow for any gamer. Coincidentally, Ethan had been deliberately sent abroad on a business trip and couldn't get back in time to help. The public backlash, his broken arm, and the bleak future finally crushed Leo. In the end, he took his own life. The streamer awards show, Kloe mused, her bright eyes thoughtful. Her uncle and kid had just left to buy clothes for the show. Time was short. Since Big Brother Leo is a good guy, I'll help you out this time. I can't let my uncle lose his future husband. I'm counting on inheriting his fortune after all. Swoosh. Mrs. Quan threw a handful of photos onto the table. See for yourself. The reason Ethan hasn't been coming home these past few years is because of this Leo Lin. No wonder he never likes any of the beautiful girls we set him up with. He's been bewitched by some pretty boy. Mr. Quan's face darkened. Whether this is true or not, Ethan doesn't need people like this around him. The Quan family line cannot end with him. A week later, at the airport, Aara said gently, Kloe, Mommy, and Uncle are going abroad for a few days on business. You need to listen to your big brother Leo and not wander off, okay? Kloe nodded. I know, Mommy. Come back soon and don't forget to eat on time. Aara was doing well now. She was starting to shine at Ethan's company, slowly becoming a strong, independent woman, no longer the pitiful heroine from the novel. Ethan looked at Leo, a small smile on his lips. If you run into any trouble, call my assistant. Leo puffed out his chest. Don't worry, I'm not a kid. I can definitely take care of your niece. I'm worried you can't take care of yourself, Ethan thought. For some reason, he had a bad feeling about this business trip. Kloe blinked. Don't worry, Uncle, I'll take good care of Big Brother Leo. Ethan smiled faintly, gave a few more instructions, and then left as their flight was about to board. Kloe stood on her tiptoes, waving at Aara. Come back soon, Mommy, she called out, thinking I'm off to save Leo. Don't worry, I won't let the tragedy from the novel happen, I promise. Let's go, time for dinner, Leo said, shaking off a strange feeling and returning to his cheerful self. I have the streamer awards show tomorrow. Want to come with me? Kloe smiled. Of course. Not only am I going, but I'm also going to take down a few people while I'm at it. Soon they arrived at the awards show. Kloe peered out the car window. The entrance was swarmed with fans, most of them there for Kid Leo Lin. Look at all the light-up signs. The fans are so energetic. I wonder if we'll see Leo tonight. He didn't even stream today. I hope I see Ethan. I love it when he plays games with Leo. They're so cute together. Kloe could hear the fans chatter even through the car window. But how long will this love last? Once the scandal broke tonight, these same fans would become the very ones to crush Leo. The car drove through a special entrance. The event was more like a gala, with champagne towers, sparkling glasses, delicious food, and celebrities and influencers chatting and laughing. It was a scene of dazzling luxury. Leo crouched down. I have to do an interview in a bit. You wait here at the table and be good, okay? Kloe nodded obediently. Kid, long time no see. And you brought a cute little kid with you, a soft, alluring voice said. Kloe recognized her immediately. This was her target for the night, the popular streamer Bella Bai. In the novel, she was the one who framed Leo, gaining a massive following by playing the victim. She had used his tragedy to become a top influencer and later married into a wealthy family. Oh, who's this little one? Bella asked with a bright smile. Leo grinned, a little proud. This is my friend's niece, Kloe. I'm looking after her for a while. Cute, right? Trying to seem friendly, Bella crouched down, a wide smile on her face. She's adorable. Kloe, do you go to kindergarten? Kloe nodded and said in a tiny voice, Yes, I go to kindergarten. That's so great, Kloe, Bella said, still smiling. Kloe tilted her head. What's so great about going to kindergarten? You mean you never went to kindergarten, miss? Bella's smile twitched. Leo chuckled and tried to smooth things over. She's just a kid. Don't mind her. Leo's assistant Finn rushed over. Leo, the interview is about to start. And after that, you have a meeting with young Master Chung. The Chung family is hosting this event, after all. Just as Leo was about to hand his phone to Finn, Kloe spoke up. Big brother Leo, I want to play a game. Can I hold onto your phone for you? A strange look flashed in Finn's eyes. A kid might lose the phone, he said quickly. It's fine. Let her play, Leo said, figuring it would keep Kloe from getting bored. He handed her the phone. You stay right here, don't wander off, understand? Kloe nodded. I know. Finn glanced over at Bella, who gave a subtle nod. Kloe saw the exchange and smirked. Do they think I'm blind? Leo's assistant, Finn, had been bought by the Quan family long ago. Tonight, she and Bella were planning to steal Leo's phone and send those harassing messages. Bella sat down next to Kloe, about to speak, when Kloe, who had been focused on her game, suddenly hopped off her chair and toddled over to a man standing nearby. Tall mister, it's you again. The tall man was Aiden Song, Kloe's jerk dad. This was an important event hosted by the Chung family, and as an entertainment mogul who managed countless celebrities and influencers, Aiden had been specially invited. Kloe had a mischievous streak. Whenever she saw her cool, germaphobe dad, she couldn't resist teasing him. She clung tightly to his leg, refusing to let go. Tall mister, I found my mommy last time. Some bad guys were mean to her, but they went to jail. The assistant beside him sighed. It's this kid again. I'm so sorry. This is the little girl Mr. Lin brought. I'm watching her for him, Bella said, rushing over with beads of sweat on her forehead. It's crowded here. Be careful with the child, the assistant said before hurrying after his boss. Bella pretended to be concerned, trying to figure out how to get the phone from the little girl. Just as she was racking her brain, Kloe spoke up. Miss, I have to go to the potty. Can you hold my phone for me? Bella's eyes lit up. She's just handing it over. Of course, sweetie. I'll hold it for you. I'll wait for you right here. Okay, thank you, miss, Kloe said with an innocent smile, then gathered her pink princess dress and scurried off. By now, Leo should have finished his interview and be resting in the break room. In the novel, his stomach condition had flared up, and he had passed out from the pain, left alone all night. By the time he woke up the next morning, Bella had already posted the evidence of his harassment online. Don't worry, big brother Leo, I'll go get help, Kloe said, her big eyes twinkling. She grinned. Just wait, I'll clear your name. Kloe had a clear goal. She ran toward the private lounge at the very back, the one reserved for the Chung family. Is there a doctor? My big brother is dying, get a doctor. The luxurious lounge fell silent for a moment, the faint smell of blood hanging in the air. The assistant quickly kicked something into a corner. Kai, moving fast, grabbed a blanket and covered it up. Hi, my big brother Leo passed out from a stomachache and I can't find anyone to help? Kloe sobbed, tears rolling down her cheeks like little pearls. She smelled the blood in the room but didn't say anything. For Aara's sake, Kai grabbed a towel and patiently wiped his fingers. Don't worry, I'll call an ambulance to take him to my family's hospital. Kloe sniffled and said in a stuffy voice, Thank you, Kai. Kai carried the unconscious Leo out of the lounge and left through the nearest exit. A medical team provided for the event was stationed at the discreet exit, and Kai helped get Leo onto the ambulance. Kloe asked in a sweet but worried tone, "Miss, when will my big brother Leo wake up?" The nurse was very polite. "The initial diagnosis is a stomach ulcer. The patient fainted from the pain. The doctor has already given him a painkiller, so he probably won't wake up until tomorrow." Kloe pointed to a black security camera on the ceiling. "Miss, is that on? If there's no camera footage, my big brother's company might think he skipped out and dock his pay." The nurse glanced at the camera and shook her head with a smile. "No, sweetie, it's off. This is a private ambulance, and the cameras are always off unless young Master Kai gives permission." Kloe looked at Kai with pleading eyes, hoping he'd turn the camera on. A strange warmth spread through Kai's chest. "Turn it on?" Chloe's face immediately lit up. "Plan successful. Even if you hadn't agreed, I would have found an excuse to get to a computer and hack the surveillance myself." Kai's gaze lingered on the 5-year-old girl. She looked innocent, but she was clearly plotting something. Could this 5-year-old really be her? Meanwhile, Leo's assistant, Faye, slipped over to Bella. "Did you send the messages to your number from Leo's phone?" Bella handed the phone over. "It's done. Is everything arranged on your end? Did Kid notice anything?" Faye shrugged, unconcerned. "That guy is always so careless. He won't even notice his phone is missing. You just focus on playing your part tomorrow." "All right, I'll follow your plan," Bella said with a confident smile. She knew a storm was about to hit the internet, and she would rise from it to become a top streamer, maybe even marry into a rich family. "Leo, you shouldn't have crossed the Quan family. Don't blame me for this." The next day, a scandal erupted online. It shot to the top of the trending charts, becoming the #1 topic almost instantly. The entire internet was in an uproar over Leo, who was still unconscious in the hospital. Just then, Kai pushed open the door and saw the 5-year-old girl. She was sitting on the sofa, her face worried and her eyes red, her little hands busy dialing a number over and over. "Kai, my uncle and mommy aren't answering my calls, and now my big brother Leo is in the hospital. I'm scared." Kai subtly sized up the little girl. Her expression, her movements, her voice. There were no flaws in her act. Kai gently patted Chloe's head. "Don't be afraid. They're in another country, so they might be busy. We'll wait for Leo to wake up. By the way, what kind of food does your mom like?" Kloe paused and looked up at him. "My mommy likes plain food." "Why do you ask, Kai?" Kai coughed and turned his head away. "Ahem, no reason." Kloe saw the tips of his ears turn red. Was he blushing? No wonder he rushed to save Aara at the hotel. This 15-year-old kid had a crush on Aara. Kloe wasn't surprised that Kai liked Aara. She was just curious how a kid like him had even met Aara since she had just arrived in Veridia. Not wanting his crush to be exposed, Kai stiffly changed the subject. "Kloe, Leo is being targeted by a planned smear campaign. We have to help him. Where's his phone? The chat logs Bella posted online haven't been photoshopped. If we had his phone..." Kloe scratched her head. "I had to go to the potty yesterday, so I asked Auntie Bella to hold on to his phone for me." Kloe had given him a huge hint. If Kai was smart enough, he'd figure out the truth. And he wasn't dumb. Kloe saw the thoughtful look in his eyes. "I already have a way to help Leo. I'm just waiting for him to wake up so I can discuss it with him." Kloe smiled innocently. "You're so amazing, Kai." Kai looked at her cute act and couldn't help but smile. If Kloe really was her, then to think she'd been reduced to pretending to be a cutesy little kid, it was a huge departure from her usual arrogant personality. Kai patted her head. "I have some things to take care of. If you get bored here, I can have someone bring you a laptop to play on." Kloe loved the sound of that. "Kai, you get me. Just go kick my jerk dad Aiden to the curb and become my stepdad. I fully approve." She pretended to play a game, opening a small, inconspicuous window in the corner of the screen to contact her subordinate, B. "B, I have a mission for you. Hack into a streaming platform called Orange Stream. I need their recent transaction records." B replied quickly. "You got it, boss. By the way, the World Hacker Competition is happening in the US later this year. The prize is $3 million. Are you in?" Kloe's fingers paused. "How much?" Her eyes lit up. $3 million? Of course she was in. She needed money now to become financially independent as soon as possible. Just then, Leo woke up, scratching his curly hair in confusion. "What happened to me?" Kloe calmly explained everything that had happened online. The expression on Leo's face grew serious. He sat cross-legged on the bed, his head down, silent for a long time. He had secretly returned to the country against his parents' wishes to become a streamer in Veridia. He'd been through his fair share of online drama over the past 2 years and had developed a thick skin. But this time, the accusations were vicious and came out of nowhere. hitting him like a ton of bricks. "I didn't do it," Leo said dejectedly, then hopped off the bed. "Those messages weren't from me. Kloe, let me borrow your phone. I need to call the director of Orange Stream." The call connected quickly. "Mr. Wang, it's... You have the nerve to call me?" Mr. Wang yelled. "Do you have any idea how much money our company has lost because of your scandal? Our stock has plummeted." Leo swayed on his feet. "I didn't send those messages to Bella. My phone was stolen last night." Mr. Wang sneered. "Leo, don't blame us for being ruthless. The truth is you messed with the wrong people." "Just wait for the lawsuit. Orange Stream will not tolerate immoral streamers." With that, he hung up. Kloe was worried. "Big brother Leo, are you okay?" Pushing down the pain in his heart, Leo forced a smile. "Kloe, I want to leave the hospital. I'll take you back to Ethan's place first. You have a bleeding ulcer, you can't be discharged yet." Kai stopped him, his expression stern. "Don't worry, I'm going to sign you. If you agree, you'll be the top gamer at Red Heart Streaming under the Cheng Corporation." Leo scratched his head, a bitter smile on his face. "Young Master Cheng, you can't be serious. I'm a social pariah right now. There's no coming back from this." Kai was calm. "Don't worry, I'll handle it." Back at the Orange Stream building, the boss handed Bella a script. "Topics about conflict between men and women get a lot of attention online. Use your story about being harassed by Leo to call for women to stand up for themselves. Just read from the script." Bella smiled sweetly. "Of course, I'll do whatever you say." Suddenly, the door burst open and a secretary rushed in. "Sir, bad news! Red Heart Streaming just posted on their official social media that they're signing Kid." Bella's brow furrowed. Everyone says the Chung family has a good eye for talent, but are they blind this time? Why would they sign a disgraced streamer? She had tried everything to get signed by Red Heart Streaming, but they had always turned her down. And now, Kid, a washed-up, disgraced streamer, was getting signed by them. The secretary continued. Red Heart also released security footage of KAD collapsing from a severe stomach ulcer and being taken away in an ambulance. The timestamp on the footage matches the time you received the harassing messages from him. Bella panicked. "There's footage? I can't let Leo tell the truth." She couldn't lose the fame and attention she had worked so hard to get. In a countryside estate in America, after 3 straight days of meetings, Ethan was almost completely cut off from the outside world. His hard work finally paid off, and he closed the complex deal. "Big brother, look at the news! Something happened to Leo!" Aara rushed over, handing him her phone. Ethan's heart sank. "We're going back to Veridia. Now. Big brother. I'm coming with you." Even before he left for America, Ethan had a strange feeling about the trip. Now, seeing the news, he finally understood. It was all a setup by his parents. They had deliberately sent him away so they could target the innocent Leo. They bought tickets and flew back immediately. "Leo, are you okay?" "Let me see." Leo grinned, a wide smile on his face. "Don't worry, I'm great. Eating well, feeling strong." Aara checked the time. "Big brother, it's getting late. I should take Kloe home. She has kindergarten tomorrow." Hearing the word kindergarten, Chloe's face fell. But Aara insisted, "You've missed a few days of school. You have to go tomorrow." Kloe felt a massive headache coming on. "Help me, I'd rather be back in the hospital." While they were out for a walk, a man suddenly jumped out of the bushes, brandishing a knife and lunging at Leo. "You trash streamer, how dare you bully my precious Bella!" The man, Wang Qiang, was 30 years old and unemployed. His favorite was Bella Bai. A crazed smile spread across his face. "You're a gamer, right? Let's see how you play after I destroy your hands." The knife glinted in the light. Before Leo could react, Ethan yanked him out of the way just in time. Leo noticed a shallow cut on Ethan's right arm with beads of red blood trickling out. His handsome face froze and a nameless rage erupted inside him. His curly hair practically stood on end as he grabbed a broom from the doorway and started beating the man with it, his eyes blazing. "You bastard! You hurt my handsome Ethan! Are you crazy? Tell me who sent you. If I don't beat you to a pulp with this broom today, my name isn't Leo." The bruised man begged for mercy. "Stop! Stop hitting me! It was Bella. She said on her stream that you faked the security footage to slander her, and she was crying about how you bullied her. I just lost it." Leo was furious. "Get on your knees and wait for the police." Soon after, Orange Stream went bankrupt, and its streamers scattered. The controversial streamer Bella Bai was confirmed to have fabricated her story and was now facing a lawsuit. Her popularity plummeted. Leo fumed. "Serves her right. She tried to frame me, then incited her fans to attack me, and Ethan got hurt because of it." Chloe's gaze rested on Ethan. He had been leaving early and coming home late, dealing with Orange Stream and Bella. "Oh, right, Ethan, Aara," Leo said, remembering something. Red Heart Streaming got me a gig for a game commercial. Maybe I should take Kloe with me. I want to go! I want to go! Kloe, who was bored out of her mind, immediately raised her little hand. Aara frowned. Then I'll go with Kloe. She can be a handful. I need to keep an eye on her. The car soon arrived at the Chung family's film studio. At the entrance, Kloe was surprised to see the young master, Kai Cheng. He was only 15 but had a maturity beyond his years. It was a gloomy, rainy day, and an assistant held a black umbrella over him. Kloe wondered why the young master of the Chung family was here. Was it for her mom? Miss Aara, long time no see. I hope you've been well. Kai was, in a way, Aara's savior. She nodded gently, her face full of gratitude. I'm doing very well, thank you. Kai's eyes flickered toward the 5-year-old Kloe. I just did what I had to do. A small smile played on Chloe's lips. See? I knew it. This kid totally has a thing for my mom. Too bad, kid. You'll have to get in line to be my dad. There's already the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th male leads ahead of you. You're number 5 at best. A barely perceptible, teasing smile touched Kai's lips. Cream puffs. Does Kloe like them? I bought them especially for you. Cream puffs, my foot. I'm a 20-year-old hacker in spirit. You think I like this sickeningly sweet stuff? But right now, she was just a 5-year-old girl. With mixed feelings, Chloe's face lit up in an innocent, happy expression. Cream puffs! I love cream puffs! Thank you, Kai. The makeup artist couldn't stop praising Leo. You really are a top gamer and a handsome streamer. Your looks are flawless. If Director Rivers saw you, he'd definitely cast you in one of his movies. Leo's head shot up. Director Rivers? You mean the Landon Rivers who won the Best New Director award at 20 and directed a film that swept 3 major international awards at 25? The makeup artist's tone was tinged with regret. We hired him to direct this commercial, but he was too busy, so we had to get another director. Kloe, no wonder that name sounds familiar. Landon Rivers, the devoted and tragic second male lead from the original novel. Back then, Aara had entered the entertainment industry under a different name and immediately caught director Landon Rivers' eye. He even created a film, Fallen Petals, with her in mind. Aara's career took off. With a famous director's support, a stunning debut, and her ethereal beauty, she was on track to become a young award-winning actress. But then, she met Aiden Song. Just then, a portly figure bustled in. Director Wang looked apologetic. Kid, I have some bad news. The actress you were supposed to film with today, Celeste Cao, said she had another engagement and bailed on us. Today's shoot is... Wait, oh my god, this lady has such an amazing presence. Director Wang's eyes lit up as if he'd just seen a goddess. Perfect muse. No director could resist casting the right actor when they saw one. He immediately extended an invitation. Beautiful lady, would you be willing to try on the costume for the female lead in this game commercial? My mentor is Landon Rivers, and he always said I have an eye for beauty. I can personally guarantee that you'll look incredible on camera. Aara looked hesitant. She was grateful for Landon's help back then, but she didn't want to get involved with him again. She felt she had let him down. And more importantly, she didn't want to be in the public eye again for fear of attracting Aiden's attention. Leo pleaded, Come on, Aara, just try it. You're so beautiful, you'll definitely look amazing on camera. Kloe gently tugged on Alara's sleeve. Mommy, I remember you have a picture in a traditional dress and you looked so pretty. I want to see you in costume, please. Kloe was giving it her all, using her cutest, most persuasive voice. Aara doesn't want to be famous because she's afraid Aiden will find her. But that's exactly what I want. This useless dad hasn't even realized his wife is in the same city after all this time. With your tracking skills, no wonder it took you over a decade to find her in the original novel. Director Wang, being a shrewd man, read the room and added, Miss, if you don't want to show your face, we can just film you from behind. You'd be saving us. We'd really love to see you in the role. Aara finally gave in. I don't need to be paid, but we need to sign an agreement that my face won't be shown. It's easy. Director Wang was ecstatic. Makeup artist, quickly, get this lady ready. Half an hour later, the dressing room door opened and Aara emerged in costume. Leo, Kloe, and the director were all stunned. Wow, you look absolutely gorgeous. Like a fairy who's descended to Earth. A few days later, Director Wang was in his office, looking regretful. If only Miss Aara had agreed to show her face. She would have been a sensation, an absolute internet phenomenon. The more he looked, the more he felt compelled to share this beauty with his mentor, who was abroad. At that moment, in a desert far away, Landon Rivers received a call from his student. Master, I just finished a game commercial. I sent the final cut to your email. He replied curtly, I'm busy. But his student persisted. It's important. Master, I finally found the kind of person you always talk about, someone born to be an actor. I sent you a picture, you have to see it. Love ya. Landon opened his email and saw the back of a beautiful woman. It's her! It has to be her! Landon felt like he was going crazy. He had been looking for her for 5 years, and now she had reappeared in his world like this. At the same time, the commercial Leo starred in was officially released worldwide. As it happened, Aiden's song saw it. It's her. It has to be her. Aiden had never been more certain. In this world, only she had that slender, elegant back. Only she could wear a costume and look like a figure from a painting. Find out who the female lead in the Fantasy Odyssey commercial is, as fast as you can. Aiden's fingertips trembled. He never imagined that she would be in Veridia, and he hadn't had a clue. The assistant reported his findings. Mr. Song, according to the staff on set, the female lead's last name is Quan. She was there with kids so they might be friends. This is her current address. Aiden checked his reflection in the car's rearview mirror. His appearance was impeccable, his clothes approachable, his expression unreadable. He was still the perfect man. He had rehearsed what he would say when he saw her again a dozen times in his head. The security guard at the gate smiled. Miss Aara, are you heading out? Aiden's head shot up. Time seemed to stand still. The way her hair was tied up, her slender and graceful back. Aara said softly, yes. Then she got into the passenger seat of a deep blue car, which drove away. Aiden was silent for a moment. Follow that car. After a 20-minute drive, the car stopped in front of a kindergarten. Kloe immediately ran into Aara's arms. Mommy, you're finally here! Aara smiled. Kloe, were you a good girl for your teacher today? Today we learned to count from 1 to 10. Kloe had to force herself to chant along with the other kids. She wanted to skip class, to graduate, to grow up quickly and escape this miserable childhood. Ethan got out of the car and took Chloe's other hand. It's my treat tonight, Kloe. What do you want to eat? Aiden couldn't believe it. His Aara already had a daughter and the father was Ethan Quan. The scene of them picking up their child from school together was a painfully happy sight. In that moment, his heart ached fiercely. Did you want to get away from me that badly? Aiden lowered his eyes, his dark gaze swirling with emotion. What happened back then was full of too many coincidences and misunderstandings. He had spent countless moments regretting it. He wanted to apologize to her in person, to tell her how he truly felt. But she had been so decisive, leaving without a word, quickly finding someone else, and even having a daughter with him. Kloe had been feeling down lately. Why hasn't my jerk dad come to find Aara yet? The game commercial Leo starred in was becoming famous worldwide, thanks to the Ching family's huge investment in advertising. Unless my dad is blind, he must have seen it. In the original novel, Aiden found them through a photo. Does that mean I have to follow the plot and find a way to get a picture of us to him to move things along? You must be Kloe, right? A rough voice asked. Kloe looked up at a strange, burly man. She raised an eyebrow. Who are you, mister? Without another word, the man clamped a hand over her mouth, picked her up and shoved her into a car. The van quickly disappeared into the bustling traffic. Boss, is this kid in shock or something? Why isn't she crying? The skinny driver asked, looking at the still Kloe. I don't care if she's dumb or a genius. We get the money and we're out of here, the man in the passenger seat said, his face dark. Chloe's lips curved into a smile. So, I've been kidnapped. Soon the van stopped at a dilapidated wooden cabin. I brought her. Did you make the call? The skinny man demanded. I've already contacted Chloe's mom, Bella Bai said coldly. I really don't get it. Why not just kidnap Leo? Why go after a 5-year-old kid? Those were the orders. Leo is always with Ethan Quan. It's hard to get to him. Don't underestimate this 5-year-old. She's surrounded by rich people, and her mom's relationship with Ethan Quan isn't simple. And you know Ethan Quan. He has more money than he can spend. Kloe sat quietly in the corner, a smile on her face. Auntie Bella, are you going to kill me? Bella shot her a glare. As long as you behave, we won't kill you. Kloe sneered inwardly. They let me see her face. Of course they plan to kill me. Even though she'd rather it be Leo, Mrs. Quan had said that Kloe, this little stain, had to be dealt with. Kloe smiled sweetly. Then I'll be very good. Aara was on her way to a business meeting at a commercial building with her colleagues. Her assistant handed her a folder. The offer from Dawn Group is $20 million. The meeting starts in half an hour. Their CEO will be there. Suddenly, the elevator doors dinged open. A tall figure stood before Aara, and her nose caught a familiar scent as her eyes met a pair of deep, dark ones. Aara froze, a flood of memories rushing through her mind. Ms. Quan, this is Mr. Song, the CEO of Dawn Group, her assistant whispered, not expecting to run into the other party in the elevator. Aiden's voice was flat. Hello? He extended his hand. Aara panicked, not knowing where to look. She wanted to run, but the past 5 years had made her stronger. After everything she'd been through in Veridia, she was no longer the timid Aara Rhodes. She fought back the tremor in her body and reached out her hand. Hello. After 5 years, their hands met again. His was just as strong as she remembered. Suddenly, her phone started ringing frantically. Aara glanced at the unknown number, hesitated, then answered. Miss Quan, I have your daughter. 10 million. Don't call the police or you'll be sorry. The call ended after just 10 seconds. Alara's mind went blank. All the strength drained from her body, and she swayed, the world turning dark. Aiden caught her just in time. Seeing her pale face, he frowned deeply. What's wrong? Alara's mind was a mess. Kidnapped. Aiden. Kloe's been kidnapped. She's only 5. Who would do this to her? 5 years old? Aiden was stunned. He asked tentatively, You should probably call the child's father first. My brother. I have to tell my brother. Aara pushed him away and fumbled for her phone to call Ethan. Brother, Kloe, she's been kidnapped. They want 10 million. It might be the Quan family. Yes, it must be Mrs. Quan. She never liked Kloe. It has to be her. Aiden suddenly grabbed her phone. Hello, this is Aiden's song. Here's what's happening. He calmly explained the situation. Ethan's expression froze as he listened. Please take Aara home. I'll send you the address. I'm on my way back. Before hanging up, Aiden asked, Mr. Quan, you're Miss Alara's brother? Yes, her older brother. Is there a problem? No problem. See you soon. Ethan, what's wrong? Leo sensed something was off. Ethan grabbed his coat. Kloe's been kidnapped. The ransom is 10 million. Aiden's song has already called the police. We need to go home and cooperate with the investigation. Leo shot up. Who? Who would dare to hurt Kloe? Kai, who had overheard, frowned, dropped the documents he was holding, and ran after them. Wait, I'll help too. Soon they were all at the villa. Kai introduced his brother. This is Bobo. He's a freeloader, but he knows a thing or two about computers. As soon as the kidnappers call again, he can trace the signal. Bro, there are guests here. Give me some credit. First, my name isn't Bobo, it's Bobo. Second, I don't just freeload. I help with the garden and feed the chickens, Bobo protested. Alara's phone rang again. It was the kidnappers. The room fell silent. She answered with a trembling hand, putting it on speaker. Tomorrow at noon, leave the money on boat number 136 at the East Side Port. If I find out you've called the police, you know what will happen. Aara sobbed, Kloe? I want to hear Kloe's voice. The kidnapper sneered. Don't even think about it. He hung up. Ethan comforted her in a low voice. Don't worry. Kloe will be fine. Aiden clenched his fists. I should have been the one protecting them all these years. Whoever is behind this, they're going to pay. 10 minutes later, Bobo finished his search and stretched. Found them. They're in the eastern suburbs near Moonlight Bay. There's a large forest there. The kidnappers are hiding in it. Aiden immediately said, I'll send my men to search. Kai added, I'll send my men too. Ethan broke out in a cold sweat. As Kloe's actual uncle, I'm the poorest one here. I don't even have private security. Kloe couldn't sleep because of the mosquitoes. She toddled over to the big burly man. Mister, there are mosquitoes. The man glanced at her impatiently, about to snap, but then he saw her big, sparkling, watery eyes. He swallowed his curses. We're in the middle of nowhere. Of course there are mosquitoes. Don't be so spoiled. I'm not spoiled, Kloe said, tilting her head and looking at the moonlit forest outside. The place I used to live was old, run down, and hot. There were so many mosquitoes in the summer. My mommy would stay up all night fanning them away from me. The man was taken aback. You're not from a rich family? My family doesn't have money, but my uncle does, Kloe said. My daddy left me and mommy and she raised me all by herself. Then my grandma wanted to marry off her daughter to some old man, but she couldn't bear to part with her own daughter. So she brought my mommy to Veridia instead. Kloe's voice was soft, sweet, and pitiful as she recounted the stories of how she and Aara were tricked into coming to Veridia. The man had assumed Kloe was a rich little girl who had never known hardship, but it turned out she had a sad story. It reminded him of his own past. His family had been dirt poor, and though his mother had always wanted him to be a good person, he had ended up on a path of crime. Mister, are you going to kill me? Kloe asked, looking like a very sensible child. The man couldn't meet her eyes. Kloe answered her own question softly. It's okay. If I die, please don't let my mommy find my body. She would cry a lot. Mister, when you get the ransom money, remember to buy your mom some new clothes. The man's eyes stung. This kid was so thoughtful, but the thought of the 10 million ransom made him hesitate. He just said gruffly, There are a lot of mosquitoes out here. Go inside. Okay, Kloe said sweetly. You should get some sleep too, mister. She turned and toddled back into the cabin, her face instantly turning cold and expressionless. The big guy might look tough, but he carries a good luck charm from his mother. A tough guy with a soft spot. His mother is his weakness. Kloe was sure that after her performance, he would feel pity for her and wouldn't kill her. Where do you think you're going? You think you can run? The skinny kidnapper entered the cabin, his expression dark as he glared at Kloe. Unlike the big guy, he didn't have a loving mother. He had been a criminal his whole life, on the run for years, and he was sharp. The skinny man had a short temper. He threw Kloe to the ground. Behave or I'll kill you! Kloe acted startled. I wasn't running away. There was a girl with pigtails and a bloody face calling me, so I went outside to find her. The man cursed. What the hell are you talking about? Kloe's voice was sweet and clear in the silent night. I'm not lying. There was a pretty girl outside. She said she was lost and wanted to go home. The skinny man pushed down his fear and glared at Kloe. This kid must be making it up. A girl with pigtails and a bloody face, it's all lies. But even the most cold-hearted person has memories they're afraid to face. Last year, while on the run, he had hidden in a small town. He went out one night to find food and ran into a pretty student with pigtails. The girl was naive and lost and asked him for directions, like an innocent lamb walking toward a hungry wolf. He had dragged her into the bushes. Since then, he had been plagued by nightmares of her terrified screams. Oh, Kloe added with a meaningful smile. The girl also said she would never let you go. She's wandering around outside right now. The man's blood ran cold. He heard a scratching sound at the window, like sharp nails climbing up, followed by a rustling. He turned his head slowly. A dark head pushed its way into the cabin, strands of black hair falling inside. With a thud, the skinny man fainted, foaming at the mouth and convulsing in fear. Kloe had scared him into fainting with a bunch of weeds. The loud noise brought the big man rushing in. He saw his unconscious partner. He was baffled. What happened? Kloe shook her head, her eyes wide with fear. I don't know. I can't say, or that lady Bella will kill me. Bella? The man's mind raced. Kloe mumbled. She gave him a bottle of water. I didn't say anything. You can fill in the blanks yourself, big guy. Just then, Bella crawled out of her tent. Can you two keep it down? I'm trying to sleep. The big man didn't say anything. Bella grabbed a bottle of water from her tent and tossed it to him. Have some water. You must be tired from keeping watch. He threw the bottle back in her face. Do you think I'm an idiot? Poison me and my brother so you can take the ransom for yourself. A scream came from inside the cabin. You hit a woman. You're not a man. You tried to poison me and you expect me not to hit you. Even a kid saw what you were doing. The search party heard the sounds of a fight. The kidnappers were turning on each other. The team leader was about to give the signal to storm the cabin when the door creaked open. A little girl walked out calmly, her dark eyes scanning her surroundings. Kloe pouted. They only came together for money. A little push and they fall apart. This is so easy, I could do it in my sleep. Just then, a member of the search party rushed forward and scooped her up. Kloe was startled, thinking she'd run into a bear, but it was her rescuers. The rest of the team stormed the cabin. Freeze! Hands up! Soon all the kidnappers were arrested and the rescue was over. Aiden was the first to arrive. Don't worry, Mr. Song, she's not hurt, a doctor said, draping a jacket over Kloe's shoulders. Kloe sipped the hot water the doctor gave her, her eyes darting to Aiden, who was beside her. My jerk dad has been staring at me. He must know about me and Mom by now. So, she deliberately called out to him, Uncle, did you bring people to save me? Thank you. Aiden's heart sank. Uncle? My own kid is calling me uncle. After a long pause, Aiden finally asked, Kloe, do you want to know where your father is? He wanted to use the topic of her father to prepare her, so he could reveal the truth when the time was right. Of course I know where my daddy is, Kloe said, holding her cup and sneering inwardly. Trying to get close to me now? Too late, jerk dad. I gave you a chance to be my father before, but you and your germophobia blew it. Now I'm not going to make it easy for you. You're going to regret this. Aiden's heart skipped a beat. You know where he is? Kloe nodded. He's dead. The words from the 5-year-old were shocking. Aiden fell silent. Dead? I'm right here. My mommy told me. My daddy was a deep sea diver. He went on a dive 5 years ago and never came back up. That means he's dead, right? Aiden was speechless. The rescue team brought Kloe back to the house, which was now full of people. Kloe toddled over, her arms outstretched. Mommy, I'm back! Aara held her tight, tears finally streaming down her face. Aiden tried to comfort her. Kloe must be hungry after all that. Why don't we get her something to eat from the kitchen? Kloe nodded enthusiastically. Yeah, I'm starving. Ethan's eyes turned cold. This Aiden song is a wolf in sheep's clothing, trying to worm his way in. I have to be on guard. Meanwhile, Kai took out his phone and made a call. What's the status of the 3 kidnappers? The rescue team leader reported, One of them has gone insane, and the other two beat each other half to death. It seems they had a dispute over the money and we just swooped in at the right time. Kai's handsome eyes narrowed. That's more like the Ace of Hearts style. One insane, the other's broken. A small smile touched his lips as he glanced at Kloe. With your skills and intelligence, even as a 5-year-old, you can take care of yourself. Kai discreetly took out his phone. Click. So cute. A completely different person from the cool, cocky, hit it and quit it little devil Ace of Hearts from my past life. Kloe paused, fighting the urge to roll her eyes. Dude, can you chill? Keep your crush on my mom under control. My actual dad is standing right here. Aara stroked Kloe's face. Let's get you a bath and a change of clothes, then it's off to bed. You're not going to kindergarten tomorrow. Mommy will stay home with you. I'm free tomorrow too. Aiden, who had been watching silently, added in a low voice. Aiden is so concerned about Kloe. Could he know who she is? I don't want the tall mister to stay with me, Kloe said with a devilish grin. He's a germaphobe. He thinks I'm dirty and doesn't want to play with me. Mommy, you have to wash your hands before you meet with him, or he'll think you're gross too. A little devil lived inside her. Daddy, you ignored me before, now I'm out of your league. Aiden started to panic. No, my daughter, my wife, let me explain. Ethan, who had been silent, finally spoke up coldly. Mr. Song, it's getting late, please leave. He was furious. I'm her brother, and you're hitting on my sister right in front of me and insulting my niece? Aiden, being a sharp man, knew he had messed up. It is getting late, I should be going. Aara, remembering something, quickly stood up. I'll walk you out. At the gate, Aara was silent for a moment before saying, Don't think you can take Kloe away from me. The Song family hasn't had a new heir in years. Old Mr. Song has been dreaming of a grandchild. Aiden pursed his lips. I won't. Aara rubbed her eyes, furious. So you do think she's dirty? I don't. The high and mighty CEO was in a full-blown panic. Why are women's minds so twisted? If I take her, you say I'm stealing her. If I don't, you say I'm rejecting her. He felt like he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. I won't let Kloe leave me, she's my child, Aara said, wiping her eyes, a determined look on her face. She's my child too, you can't let her grow up without a father and you can't leave me without a wife. Do you know I've been looking for you for 5 whole years? I didn't cherish you back then, and it wasn't until you left that I realized my whole world had collapsed. Your wife is Serafina Cheng, not me, Aara said flatly. After all, wasn't it her resemblance to his childhood sweetheart that had attracted him in the first place? Aara, I don't love her, Aiden tried to explain. He had been such a jerk back then. The misunderstandings between them were as high as the sky and as deep as the sea, impossible to clear up in just a few words. Aara, let's go home. Kloe wants cake and I don't know how to cut it. I only know how to cut meat. Aiden flinched. Aara didn't want to talk to Aiden anymore. She gave him a nod, quickly said, Don't come tomorrow, and turned to go back inside. From a second-floor window, Kloe watched the melodramatic scene through a pair of binoculars. She felt no sympathy for her jerk dad. In the original novel, my sweet, naive mom was tormented from beginning to end. If I hadn't accidentally ended up in this novel, her life would be miserable right now. For the tragic heroine to rise up and fight back, she's going to need my help. A few days later, news came from the police station. The kidnappers had confessed. Aara clenched her fists. Was it Mrs. Quan? Ethan told her the truth. There were 2 groups. Bellaby hates Leo and was manipulated by someone into targeting Kloe. As for the 2 kidnappers, they claim they took an anonymous online job. A mysterious person paid them a large sum to kidnap Kloe. The police traced the online ID to an account in the US, but they can't investigate any further. The US? Aara was confused. Kloe and I are just ordinary people. We don't have the power or status to make enemies in America. The words caught in her throat as she thought of someone. On the staircase landing, Kloe pricked up her ears. What? 2 different groups wanted to kidnap me? One was the Quan family and the other was a mysterious force from the US? Could it be one of my dad's old flames? That's Serafina Cheng. Serafina Cheng was the main villain of the original novel, a cruel woman who was a master at playing the victim. When the ex-fiancée, Serafina, was supposedly sick in the US, Aiden had found Aara as a stand-in. But when Serafina found out about Aara, she miraculously recovered overnight, returned to the country to rekindle her relationship with Aiden, and secretly drove the pregnant Aara away. Later, when she found out Aara had married Mr. Lee, she still wouldn't leave her alone, claiming she needed a kidney transplant and that Aara was a perfect match. To curry favor with the Chung family, Mr. Lee had one of Alara's kidneys removed. Her chubby little fingers flew across the keyboard. That's not right. The kidnapper's communication IP traces back to Jasmine Manor in the US. The owner, Molia, is a successful young businessman. He has no connection to Serafina, and he definitely has nothing to do with me. Why would a rich American hire someone to kidnap me? Kloe rested her chin. Just as she was about to dig deeper into this, Mr. Molia, her computer screen flashed, and a line of text appeared. See you at the World Hacker Competition. Kloe shot up, her big dark eyes blinking in surprise. A strong sense of threat washed over her. Someone found me. In the world of this melodramatic novel, there's another hacker as skilled as me? Impossible! Suddenly, a thought struck her. Could it be the man from my past life who hunted me down, but ended up sleeping with me? Did he get transmigrated into this book too? Kloe wanted to scream. In my past life, I was a menace to society. I had no problem with you hunting me down across the globe. But now, I've turned over a new leaf, and I'm living peacefully as a 5-year-old girl. I'm this innocent, sweet, and adorable child, and you still won't leave me alone. You hired kidnappers to try and kill me? Kloe ground her teeth, her fingers flying across the keyboard as she typed in a destructive command. Looks like I'll have to go to that competition and meet this bastard in person. In New York City, it was late at night. A sharp smile touched a man's lips. I finally found you, Ace of Hearts. Just as the man was about to get up and retire for the night, the sprinkler system suddenly went haywire, spraying water everywhere. Someone had clearly hacked the garden's automatic watering system. The man shook his head. Still the same vengeful little thing I remember. Aara knocked on Kloe's door with a tray of lunch. She was worried that being kidnapped at such a young age would leave a lasting psychological scar. Kloe, do you want to meet your father? Aara had been hesitating for a long time. She was afraid to tell Kloe the truth, worried she wouldn't be able to handle it. If you want to meet him, I can take you. The truth would come out eventually. One day, Kloe would find out that Aiden's song was her father. Kloe said seriously, if Mommy still likes Daddy, then I'm willing to meet him. I want the best mommy in the world to be happy and to have a daddy to protect her when she's in danger. When I grow up, I'll protect you with him too. The Aara in the original novel had such a miserable life. She was so kind, she deserved all the happiness in the world. If Aiden could protect her, Kloe could grudgingly call him Dad. If he couldn't, there were plenty of other men who would want to be her stepdad. Alara's eyes welled up, and she smiled as she stroked her daughter's hair. You're such a good girl, Kloe. Just then, a luxury car pulled up, and Aiden got out, holding a Barbie doll. The internet said 5-year-old girls love these. Kloe will definitely like this gift. Mr. Song, a young voice called out. Aiden turned to see Kai Cheng, dressed casually but with a mature air about him. Young Master Cheng, who are you here to see? Kai thought, I'm here to see the 5-year-old girl, of course. But he made an excuse. I'm here to see Miss Aara, I have something to ask her. A bad feeling washed over Aiden. It's broad daylight, and you, a minor, are here to see my wife? Kai didn't linger. He knocked on the door, and the housekeeper let him in with a smile. Just as Aiden was about to knock, another voice called out, Aiden! The man was Landon Rivers, looking every bit the artist with his long hair. You just don't give up, do you? Landon sneered. Aiden scoffed. Look who's talking. The two were old rivals, always clashing, and it was all because of Aara Rhodes. When Landon first entered the film industry, he was captivated by Aara and immediately cast her as the lead in his film, Fallen Petals. He had planned to make her a star, but then Aiden's song had come along and stolen her away. Alara's adoptive mother was gravely ill and needed a lot of money for treatment, so Aara had agreed to be Aiden's contract lover and gradually faded from the public eye. Such a talented actress, wasted. Landon taunted him. She ran so far to get away from you, and you still have the nerve to show up here? In the living room, Kai gave Kloe a box of pastries he had just bought. Kloe, are they good? He asked with a playful smile. Not at all. No matter how good they are, if you eat them 365 days a year, you'd get sick of them too. I love them, but Mommy says I can't have too many sweets or I'll get cavities. Kloe thought, ugh, but on her face, a cute pout. The housekeeper rushed into the room. Miss, a Mr. Rivers is here to see you. Aara froze for a second, then went to the door. When she opened it, she saw a familiar, slightly more weathered face. Director! Landon's eyes grew misty. It was really her. After 5 years, only she possessed that effortless grace. Director, please come in, Aara said, excited to see him. Aiden, who had been standing by the door like a piece of furniture, wiped a bead of sweat from his brow. Kloe finished her pastry and was playing a video game with Kai, the city's newest release, Fantasy Odyssey. She was happy to play. It was at least better than the matching games, Snake and Barbie dress-up Kai had suggested earlier. Just as she logged in, she heard her mother's voice. Aara was introducing everyone to Landon. Kloe's ears perked up and her eyes widened. Kai beside her also looked up, as if he too remembered the plot of the original novel. Landon Rivers, the devoted second male lead who was a fan favorite, the one who made readers cry and whose popularity surpassed even the male lead, Aiden's song. "This is my daughter, Kloe," Aara introduced. "She's 5. "Hello, mister. I'm Kloe," she said, her eyes curving into crescents on her chubby little face. A daughter. 5-year-old daughter? Landon's mind raced. Could she be Aiden's? The thought made him even angrier. Aara has been raising a child all by herself for 5 years. It must have been so hard. Landon shot a glare at Aiden, then turned to Kloe. "It's nice to meet you, Kloe. I came in a hurry today, but I'll bring you a gift next time." "What kind of things do you like?" Aara interjected. "Director, don't spoil her. She doesn't need anything." "I want the newest game figures," Kloe said seriously. "I hate Barbie dolls." Landon smiled. "Okay, I'll remember that." Outside the door, Aiden silently threw the Barbie doll he was holding into the trash. "Who said all 5-year-old girls like Barbie dolls? My daughter doesn't." As evening fell, Aara walked Landon to the door. Before he left, he said earnestly, "Aara, I hope you'll seriously consider my offer. You're doing well now, free from all the troubles of the past. You can finally make decisions for yourself." Aara looked down and nodded. "Director, I'll think about it." Landon gave her a long look, then turned and left. Aara turned back and was startled to find Aiden eavesdropping in the corner. "Mr. Song, you're still here?" Aiden was frustrated. "Aara, I want you to know, I never saw you as a replacement for anyone else." Aara didn't believe him. "I forgot to tell you something. There were 2 groups behind Kloe's kidnapping. One was the Quans, and the other is based in the US. I think the second group is connected to one of your admirers." Aiden was confused. "What do you mean, again?" It wasn't surprising that Aara would jump to that conclusion. When she was with Aiden, she had been secretly targeted by Serafina Chang multiple times. This kidnapping had to be related to her. Serafina was obsessed with Aiden. If she knew about Kloe, she would definitely try to harm her. "Stay away from us from now on. You'll only bring danger to Kloe." The more Aara thought about it, the angrier she got. She turned, went inside, and slammed the iron gate shut, leaving a bewildered Aiden standing outside. Half a month later, whenever Aiden wasn't working, he would go to Aara's house. Ethan wouldn't let him in, so he would just play with the dog outside, steal glances at the house, and then leave, looking back every few steps. He was turned away every time, but he never gave up. "Just ignore him. He'll get tired of it eventually," Aara said, her head buried in a script. She figured it was just a passing fancy for him, and he would give up once the novelty wore off. Perhaps influenced by Kloe, Aara was no longer the weak woman from the original novel. Especially after Kloe had been endangered time and time again, her protective instincts had kicked in, and her intelligence had skyrocketed. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. "Kloe, go get the door for your uncle. It's probably them," Aara said. Kloe happily opened the door. It wasn't her dad, and it wasn't Ethan. It was a familiar face she hadn't seen in a while. Iris Quan. "Kloe, long time no see. Did you miss your auntie?" Iris asked with a smile. Kloe's face fell. What is this side character doing here? Is her life going too well? Did she come here looking for a beatdown? And dear God, did she bathe in perfume? It stinks. "Sister, is my big brother not home?" Iris asked, striking a graceful pose. "He's still busy. He'll be back later," Aara replied coolly. Iris scoffed, sitting elegantly on the sofa opposite her. "Big brother is so strange. He has a perfectly good mansion, but he insists on living in this rundown place, letting just anyone in." Aara focused on her script and ignored her. But Kloe looked up and said sweetly, "You're wrong, Auntie. My uncle would never let harmful, non-recyclable trash like you into his house." "You little bastard!" The words were on the tip of her tongue, but Iris forced herself to maintain her ladylike demeanor. She had a clear purpose for being here today, to find Ethan. Rumor had it that director Landon Rivers was preparing for a new film and had become friends with Ethan, visiting him frequently. If her brother could introduce her, and she could get a role in Landon's film, her value would skyrocket, bringing her one step closer to her beloved Aiden. She had to seize this opportunity to become a star, win over Aiden, and marry into the Song family, becoming the lady of the house. "Sister, are you reading a script?" Iris noticed the thick binder in Aara's hands, filled with notes. Aara just grunted in response. Iris giggled. "Don't tell me you've heard about Director Rivers and are hoping to use your connection with Big Brother to get a cameo in his new film?" "Sister, let me give you some advice. You're not cut out to be an actress, and Director Rivers wouldn't give you a second glance. If anyone's going to catch his eye, it's me. Last year at a party, he even stopped me and asked for my card. Sister, not everyone is made for acting. I took acting classes in college, so at least I'm not afraid of the camera. You've been busy raising a child. You should stick to what you know." Aara put down her script. Could you please be quiet for a moment? She was trying to study the script, but Iris's constant, condescending chatter was a huge distraction. Iris was taken aback, her eyes flashing with venom. Does this woman think she can act all high and mighty just because she has my brother's protection? The doorbell rang again, and Kloe bounced over to open it. Standing outside was the handsome, long-haired Landon Rivers. Kloe greeted him sweetly. Uncle Landon, you're here. Welcome. Landon smiled. You little rascal. Here's that figure I promised you. Iris quickly introduced herself. Director Rivers, it's an honor. I'm Iris Quan, Ethan's sister. Landon's bright eyes swept over her dismissively, and he gave a curt nod. Hello? His tone was cold and distant. Iris wasn't surprised. Geniuses were often eccentric, and Landon was famously difficult, known for keeping everyone at a distance. But the next scene nearly shattered her worldview. The same Landon Rivers who had just been so cold to her immediately broke into a warm smile the moment he saw Aara. You've been looking at the script for 3 days now. What do you think? Aara answered honestly, I have some thoughts. I've marked the parts that need changes in blue pen. Iris frowned, a strange feeling creeping up on her. She coughed and said disapprovingly, Director Rivers is one of the best screenwriters in the industry. You haven't had much education. What could you possibly know? Don't make a fool of yourself. Landon was focused on the revised script. Some of these changes don't quite work. Before he could finish, Iris interjected, Director, my sister isn't well educated. Please don't blame her. If you'd like, I could take a look at your script. But Landon didn't even spare her a glance. However, Aara, I will consider adding the new scene you suggested. Iris was dumbfounded. Landon is actually listening to someone else's suggestions? Isn't he notoriously stubborn, never letting anyone touch his scripts? Iris persisted. Director, I've studied screenwriting. I can help my sister with the revisions. Landon frowned. Miss, could you please be quiet? Director, I didn't mean to offend you. Iris tried to explain. I just thought I could assist my sister. Be quiet! All this chatter is giving me a headache, Landon said, clearly annoyed. He'd been in the film industry for years. He could see right through a schemer like her. Aara, I'm going to borrow your study to revise the script. Call me when dinner's ready. Of course, Director. Go ahead. Iris couldn't help but think, did Landon fall for Aara's looks? Did she use her body to get close to him? I underestimated you, sister. You hide your schemes well. Aara's face hardened. Landon is my mentor. You should at least come up with a believable lie. Iris laughed. Director Rivers is a legend in the Veridia film industry. He's your mentor? You're a woman who's had a child after all. Aara couldn't take it anymore. She stood up, trembling. Get out! Did I strike a nerve? I was just telling the truth. Why are you so angry? The more Iris saw her reaction, the more certain she was that something was going on. Kloe had seen enough. She opened her mouth and bit down hard on the scheming woman's hand. Iris shrieked, Leave me, it hurts! Kloe seemed to be in a frenzy, her hands on her little hips. Mommy, should I let Big Yellow out? He hasn't had his rabies shot. I'll let him bite this mean lady. Hearing that, Iris panicked and ran away. Kloe bit her lip, her eyes filled with anger. Aara looked down at her 5-year-old daughter and suddenly understood. If she continued to be a pushover, the Quan family would always see her as a weakling they could easily manipulate. She had to stand up for herself, to build her own strength and prove them all wrong. Kloe thought, Get to work, my dear mother. Stop relying on men, stop trying to please everyone. Mom, you have to become strong to protect the ones you love. That weekend, tempted by her dad's promises, Kloe happily went with him to see Landon Rivers. Kloe scoffed inwardly. You think I don't know what you're doing? You're just trying to provoke Landon to show off your father-daughter bond and put him in his place. Aiden glanced at his precious daughter out of the corner of his eye and cleared his throat. Kloe, who do you like more, Uncle Landon or me? You're so childish, Dad. Kloe rolled her eyes but put on an innocent smile. I like both Uncle Landon and Uncle Aiden, but I also like my big brother Kai and my big brother Leo. Aiden was both happy and sad. Happy that he had finally surpassed the dog, Big Yellow, in her affections and was on par with Landon. Sad that the day he could finally reveal he was her father was still a long way off. In the studio, Landon was yelling at an actor. What is this garbage? I could pull a random beggar off the street with better acting skills than you. Next. His student Wong Fugi said meekly, Master, you've been at this all morning. Why don't you take a break, get some lunch, and continue this afternoon? Let the actors rest and reset. Landon waved his hand dismissively, his temper flaring. No breaks. Bring in the next one. Just then, a sweet voice called out, Hi, Uncle Landon. Kloe beamed. The fatigue on Landon's face vanished, replaced by a kind smile. Well, if it isn't our little Kloe. What brings you here today? His mood changes faster than you can flip a page. The student was stunned, looking at Kloe as if she were a saint. He quickly added, Kloe must have known her Uncle Landon has been working so hard he hasn't even had lunch, so she came to eat with him, right? Kloe nodded. Okay, I'm hungry. Landon immediately gave an order. Everyone, take an hour break, lunch is on me, and order a deluxe lunch with a kid's meal. Just then, Landon noticed Aiden was also there and frowned. Where did you come from? Aiden scooped Kloe into his arms, his tone slightly boastful. I came with Kloe. It's the weekend, she just finished her homework, so I brought her out for a bit. And to show you how much our father-daughter relationship has improved. Annoying, isn't it? Landon sneered and muttered under his breath, Idiot. Master, lunch is here. Wong Fugi gave Kloe a wink and whispered, Little Kloe, your Uncle Landon doesn't eat much, he's as thin as a rail. You have to make sure he eats more, okay? Kloe nodded obediently and put a piece of braised pork in Landon's bowl. My mommy said that even if you're busy with work, you shouldn't forget to eat or you'll get sick. Food is important. Seeing this, Aiden cleared his throat. Kloe, I'm very busy with work too, and I have stomach problems. Kloe rolled her eyes internally. Seriously, Dad, you're jealous of this too? You're so childish, why don't you just come to kindergarten with me? She forced a sweet smile and put a piece of pork in his bowl too. It was bigger than the one she gave Landon. CEO Aiden was satisfied. Suddenly, his phone rang. Kloe, you eat first. I need to take this call. At the same time, an actor came over to ask Landon a question about the script. Kloe, feeling thirsty, went over to a nearby refrigerator to get some water. The moment she opened the fridge door, she heard the faint sound of a spring mechanism and a large shadow fell over her. A piece of photography equipment was falling from the ceiling. Just as Kloe was about to dodge, a figure appeared behind her like a flash of lightning. Kid, look out! A voice boomed. Kloe froze as someone tackled her to the ground. There was a loud crash as a 100-pound studio light hit the floor, leaving a small crater and sending shards of glass everywhere. The loud noise startled everyone in the studio. Landon's eyes widened in horror. Kloe! Zach Zhang sat up, grimacing, blood trickling from his forehead. He ignored his own injuries and immediately checked on Kloe. Little girl, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? Kloe was fine. I'm okay. Thank you for saving me. Aiden rushed over, his face pale with fear at the sight. He quickly scooped Kloe into his arms. Soon, they were at the hospital. A doctor cleaned and bandaged Chloe's minor scrapes on her arms and legs. Zach was in much worse shape, with a cut on his head and his leg slashed by the glass. Even though Kloe insisted she was fine, the overly worried adults wouldn't believe her, especially her dad, Aiden, whose face was dark with self-blame and worry. Director Rivers, I seem to recall investing $100 million in your studio last year. That should have been enough to buy plenty of new equipment. Are you suggesting my equipment is old? Landon scoffed. Fugi, tell him about our studio's maintenance schedule. Wang Fugi quickly explained. Mr. Song, all our equipment undergoes a major inspection every 3 days. There's no issue with aging equipment. The light falling today was likely an accident. Kloe glanced at the 3 men in the room. Uncle Landon is so lucky today. If he had been the one to get me a drink, he might have been the one who got hit. The 5-year-old had already figured it out. She remembered hearing the sound of a spring when she opened the fridge, a trigger. When the fridge opened, the mechanism was activated, and the heavy light fell. She couldn't say it directly, but she could drop hints and let the smart adults figure it out. As expected, Chloe's childish comment made the 2 powerful men in the room frown and exchange a look. You were supposed to be the one to open that fridge. That's my personal fridge. It's where I keep my water, food, and face masks. I'm usually the only one who opens it. They were both stunned. If Zach hadn't shown up, Landon would have been the one to open that fridge, and he could have been the one who got hit. Landon turned to his student. Don't let anyone touch the scene. Today's auditions are canceled. Call the police and get the security footage. Some bastard has the guts to try and kill me. Aiden quickly covered Chloe's ears. Landon, watch your mouth. My daughter is right here. Then he rushed to his side. Someone's trying to kill you? Do you have any suspects? Landon shook his head. I've made a lot of enemies. I can't think of anyone specific right now. Aiden sneered. Pathetic. Landon glared at him. I have a lot of enemies and you don't. Kloe fought the urge to roll her eyes. Are you two really competing over who has more enemies? Compared to me, Ace of Hearts, you're all amateurs. The number of enemies who wanted me dead in my last life could circle the globe 3 times. Just then, Aara rushed in. She was frantic. She hadn't seen her daughter for half a day, and she was already in danger again. Kloe quickly assured her she was fine, that a man had saved her. Aiden, seeing Aara cry, quickly added, Don't worry, it was just an accident. Landon, catching on, immediately said, Aara, it was a sudden problem at the studio. It's my fault for not having the staff do a better equipment check. For once, Aiden and Landon were in agreement. Someone was trying to commit murder. They would handle it discreetly and keep Aara out of it to protect her. Aara wiped her tears, not blaming Landon, but shooting a glare at Aiden. I haven't had much time to spend with Kloe lately, so I let you take her out. You promised you would take good care of her, and this is what happens. Aiden hung his head. I was wrong. I don't have experience looking after a child. I'll be more careful in the future. I won't let you worry. Aara was taken aback. She hadn't expected him to apologize so readily. The powerful head of Song Entertainment admitting he was wrong with such sincerity, it was hard to believe. Aiden picked up a large red apple. You came in such a hurry, you probably haven't had lunch. I'll have someone bring food. Let me peel an apple for you first. He took a small knife from the fruit basket and began to peel it carefully. Aara was surprised. I don't remember you ever knowing how to peel an apple. Aiden smiled handsomely. I learned. He thought Aara must be so touched. To win her and my daughter back, I practiced peeling apples late into the night. It finally paid off. Aara pursed her lips and muttered, Miss Cheng has been sick for years. You must have learned to take care of her. I understand. Aiden was baffled. Do all women think like this? He quickly explained, that's not it. I just started practicing peeling apples half a month ago. I also practiced playing with clay, playing video games, and I'm learning to cook. This has nothing to do with Serafina Cheng. Landon looked at Aiden like he was a complete moron. Kloe, watching from the sidelines, sighed inwardly. Isn't my dad supposed to be a cool, calculating CEO? Why does he seem more and more like a goofy husky lately? When Aara learned that Zach Zhang had saved her daughter, she immediately took Kloe to thank him. The glass had been removed from his leg, and the wound wasn't deep. He was healthy and would recover in a week or two. He was resting in his hospital bed, a tall, strong man with a pale, weathered face that spoke of years of hard work. Kloe looked at him, and memories of his story from the novel came flooding back. He was a minor character who had a brief moment of fame thanks to his performance in one of Landon's films. But later, he was caught in a cheating scandal. His wife, who had always seemed devoted, angrily divorced him, leaving him with nothing. His fame plummeted, and he became an obscure actor again. After struggling for a few years, he eventually died from overwork. But this man seems so upright and loyal. Would he really cheat in the future? Or was he framed? Kloe decided to investigate his personal situation when she had the chance. A life-saving favor had to be repaid. Zach's eyes suddenly widened as he stared at Aara. You're Aara Rhodes? Miss Rhodes? His voice trembled as he rubbed his eyes, thinking he was dreaming. The actress who had a fleeting moment of fame 5 years ago before disappearing? I used to be called Aara Rhodes, but my real name is Aara Quan, she said with a gentle smile. I'm Chloe's mother. Thank you for saving my child. Miss Rhodes, I never thought I'd meet you here. You're as young and beautiful as ever. Zach was so excited he was tripping over his words, his face flushed. I've always followed your work. You're my idol. Zach, get some rest. You can join the cast once you've recovered, Landon said. Seeing that there were no outsiders around, he gave him a sly wink. By the way, Miss Aara is the female lead this time. We'll be announcing it in a couple of days, so keep it a secret for now. Really? I get to act with my idol? The 30-something-year-old man was as excited as a 5-year-old. Mommy, were you an actress before? Kloe asked, feigning curiosity. Aara didn't hide it. Yes, I used to act. Your Uncle Landon was the director. Mommy is the prettiest in the whole world. She'll definitely be a big star. Mommy, why did you stop acting? Kloe continued, her face a mask of innocence. Aara was at a loss for words, unsure how to explain the story of her running away while pregnant. Landon sneered. Your mother is a talented actress. She just had bad luck and ran into a certain bastard. He was still angry just thinking about it. Aara, you needed money. You could have just asked me, a famous director. Why did you have to go to that cold-faced jerk Aiden's song? Director, I should take Kloe home now, Aara said, changing the awkward subject. She still has her kindergarten homework to do. She was about to leave the hospital, holding Chloe's soft little hand, when a familiar figure walked toward them. Kai stopped, seemingly surprised to see Kloe. Miss Quan, Director Rivers. Young Master Chung, good timing, Landon said with a slight nod. My friend Zach is in the hospital. Please make sure he's well taken care of for the next few days. Of course. I have some other matters to attend to. With that, Kai nodded to everyone and strode away. Kloe watched him go, curious. That's weird. Aren't you trying to win my mom over? Why didn't you even look at her today? You definitely saw the scrapes on me, but you didn't ask about them or try to suck up to my mom. She scratched her head, completely baffled by the mind of a 15-year-old boy. An assistant whispered to Kai, "Young master, according to the audio from the hospital room's security camera, the incident at Director Rivers' studio was deliberate. It seems he was the target, and Kloe was just caught in the crossfire." Kai gestured with his finger. "Have someone keep an eye on Landon Rivers. Even though Kloe can protect herself, I'm still worried. She's just a 5-year-old kid, not the terrifying woman from my past life who could kill with a single look. There are too many unknowns in this novel. I need to find a way out of here as soon as possible." Aiden and Landon worked together, quickly recovering the security footage and identifying the suspect, an obscure actor named Ryan Zhang who had been rejected at the audition. But Ryan was cautious, so Landon used the excuse of a second audition to lure him back. Aiden, as usual, showed up at Aara's house with groceries. He had learned his lesson and now brought practical things instead of flowers and jewelry. After checking on Aara and Chloe's homework, he left for Landon's studio. The housekeeper, Auntie Zhao, commented, "At first, I didn't think Mr. Song would last more than a few days, but it's been over half a month and he's more dedicated than ever. He was asking me for recipes today. It looks like he wants to learn to cook to impress you." Aara changed the subject. "Auntie, could you please wash the vegetables? I'm going to check if Kloe has finished her homework." She went upstairs, but Kloe wasn't in her room. Aara wondered if she had snuck out to play again. Meanwhile, Kloe had taken advantage of her dad's distraction and hidden in the trunk of his car. She knew he was going to meet Landon to catch the culprit who had tampered with the light. "I'll go see for myself who has a death wish, trying to pull a stunt like this in broad daylight." The black luxury car drove discreetly to Landon's studio. Just as Aiden opened the door, he heard a soft, sweet voice from the trunk. "Uncle Aiden?" He opened the trunk, stunned. "Kloe, what are you doing in my trunk? Did you sneak out without your mom knowing? That's very dangerous, you know." Kloe immediately waved her chubby little hands and called out sweetly, "I want to play with Uncle Aiden." The scolding died on Aiden's lips at the sound of her sweet, soft voice. "My precious daughter is so cute, especially when she's trying to be sweet. Don't sneak out again, or I'll have your mom spank you, understand?" he said, his voice softening. They went into Landon's studio. Landon came over and with a few words coaxed Kloe into the next room. "Kloe, I hear you like to play on the computer. Go play in this room, and don't wander off, okay?" It was clear they had important things to discuss and didn't want a 5-year-old around. Kloe didn't protest. "Okay." She happily went into the room with her milk carton. With Kloe gone, the warm smile on Landon's face vanished. "Ryan Zhang, the one who tampered with the light, I tricked him into coming here for an audition half an hour ago and caught him. I showed him the security footage and he confessed. He said he was angry at me and wanted revenge." Aiden sat down, his voice cold. "Impossible. Someone put him up to it. No kidding. I'm not an idiot like you." "Of course I know someone was behind him." Landon frowned, his tone dismissive. "Ryan is an obscure actor with no background and no talent. There's no way he could have pulled off something like this alone. Someone had to have helped him. I suspect Wang Entertainment is behind it. After all, you control 2/3 of the entertainment industry, and they have the rest. Now that you're investing in my new film, which has blockbuster potential, it's not surprising they'd resort to this to protect their market share. I'll look into it. If it really was Wang Entertainment." Aiden thought of his innocent daughter being caught in the crossfire, and his eyes turned dark. It's time for Wang Entertainment to go bankrupt. Soon Ryan was brought in. He was cursing Landon, calling him a talentless hack. "Zach Zhang is just like me. Why did Landon choose him? What does he have that I don't?" Landon was furious. "Why? Because Zach stays in shape while you're always at bars with yellow teeth. Zach works out and you can't even memorize your lines. Why would I choose you? You don't have the talent, and instead of working on it, you try to kill me. Go rot in jail." Aiden glanced at Ryan and said in a low voice, "Listen, if you're working for the Wang family, you will pay a terrible price." Ryan's face went pale. He didn't know how he had offended Aiden or why he was working with Landon. But the threat in his voice was real, and it sent a chill down Ryan's spine. In the small room, Kloe listened to her dad's badass declaration through a listening device. My dad is pretty cool, Kloe thought. Poor Ryan is probably going to be in jail for a long time, but he's most likely just a pawn. Someone powerful is pulling the strings. Put him up to it. Kloe cracked her knuckles, her chubby fingers flying across the keyboard. She quickly found that $1 million had been deposited into his account from Wang Entertainment. This company has guts messing with my dad. Kloe stroked her chin. Landon was lucky this time, but Wang Entertainment won't give up. They'll probably go after the director and actors next, and maybe even the innocent Aara. She decided to subtly leak Wang Entertainment's plans to her dad, Landon, her uncle, and the Chung family. I'll just provide the knife. What they do with it is their business. After all, I'm just a 5-year-old kid. I don't know anything. Just then, the door opened. Kloe quickly switched her screen to a game of Plants vs. Zombies. Uncle Landon, are you back? She asked, turning around. But it wasn't Landon or Aiden. It was a young man who was both a stranger and familiar. Kloe froze. Isn't this the third male lead from the novel who had a crush on Aara, Jasper Jung? The one known as the hope of the film industry, the most prestigious award-winning actor, and the top star of Wang Entertainment? And you are... Jasper noticed the little girl at the computer and raised an eyebrow. Landon doesn't like kids, and he especially doesn't like people touching his computer. Who is this little girl? Kloe tilted her head, her face a picture of surprise. Are you Uncle Jasper? I see you on TV all the time. My mommy and I are big fans. My name is Kloe, and I'm almost 6. Jasper nodded. Kloe, do you know where Director Rivers is? Just then, the door opened and Landon and Aiden returned. Director, Mr. Song, Jasper said, standing up to greet them. Landon was a little surprised. When did you get here? You didn't even call. Just arrived. A brand sent me a case of special honey yesterday. I brought you a couple of jars. Jasper handed him a bag. Landon slapped his forehead and laughed. Kloe, your mom has been working hard lately. Take a jar of this honey home with you and tell her to drink a little every day. It's good for her, you know? Okay, thank you, Uncle Landon. Kloe nodded enthusiastically. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw the smile on Jasper's face freeze. Kloe had seen it all in her past life. She could tell that this famous actor was a little too fond of Uncle Landon. She doesn't need your concern, Aiden said sourly. Aara has everything she needs. You should keep the honey for yourself. Landon glared at him. Hey, Song, Aara hasn't even given you the time of day, and you're acting like you own the place? I can give her honey if I want to. It's none of your business. You're not married yet? She's still single? Aiden was annoyed. It's only a matter of time before she accepts me. She let me in the house today. Our relationship is beyond your wildest dreams. Just then, his phone started ringing. He looked at it and his face lit up. It was Aara, and it was a video call. He answered it right in front of Landon. Aara, where's Kloe? Is she with you? I've looked all over the house and can't find her. Aara asked anxiously. Mommy, I'm here! Kloe heard her and bounced over. I snuck into Uncle Aiden's car and went out to play. Kloe really likes playing with Uncle Aiden. It would be great if I could see him every week. Aiden was close to tears. Did I hear that right? My precious daughter likes playing with me? This is a huge step forward in our father-daughter relationship. Aara paused, a complex emotion in her eyes. Mr. Song, bring Kloe home immediately. Aiden's handsome face broke into a smile. All right, don't be angry. Landon's expression froze. He knew Kloe was Aiden's daughter, but he was still worried about Aara being with him. After all, Aiden still had his beautiful, high-status fiancée, Serafina Cheng, and she was not someone to be taken lightly. Jasper noticed Landon's mood and frowned. Who is Kloe's mother? Why is Director Rivers so fond of them? And why is he fighting with Mr. Song over this woman? After Aiden and Kloe left, Jasper asked, Director, that little girl was very cute. Are you close with her mother? Landon answered honestly, Kloe is a sweetheart. I'm thinking of casting her as the younger version of the female lead in my film. I'll talk to her mother about it soon. You've met her mother, but it's a secret for now. I promise you'll be shocked when you see who it is. Jasper was curious and a little jealous. He hadn't seen Landon smile so genuinely since Aara Rhodes left the industry. A few days later, Serafina Cheng was at Song Entertainment. Her best friend, Celeste Cao, made her a cup of coffee. Why didn't your fiancé, CEO Aiden, come with you? Serafina sighed. I came to see him, but his staff said he was out, so I came to visit you instead. Ever since that woman left 5 years ago, Aiden has been a different person, so hard to read. But she was determined to hold on to her title as his fiancé. She put down her coffee and smiled gently. Celeste, I heard you got a role in Landon Rivers' new film. Congratulations. His movies are excellent. Your career is sure to take off. Celeste shrugged. It's just the second female lead. Nothing to brag about. The second female lead? Serafina was surprised. You're a big enough star to be the lead. Just then, Celeste's assistant burst in. Celeste, Director Rivers just released the poster for the female lead. Celeste glanced at the poster and froze. She would never forget that face. Rhodes, didn't she leave the industry? Celeste? Serafina noticed her strange reaction. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Celeste's face was unnaturally pale. Serafina went over to check on her and saw the movie poster. Her own face turned livid. It was Aara Rhodes. She had worked so hard to get rid of her, and now she was back? I got rid of her once, I can do it again. Celeste was trembling. You already left the industry, why are you back? Are you going to pretend to be an innocent little flower again? Steal my spotlight? Steal Landon's love? Did he bring you back because he's still in love with you? Aara went to Landon's studio to sign the contract. Aiden, not trusting them to be alone, shamelessly tagged along, leaving Kloe at home by herself. Bored, she remembered her kindergarten art project was due. Though she hated it, she gritted her teeth, found some scissors, glue, and colored paper, and started cutting. Kindergarten is so boring. I don't want to do homework. Just as she was randomly snipping away, her savior arrived, Kai. Kloe's eyes lit up. Hey, come help me with my homework. Kloe handed him a pile of colored paper. Defeated by her puppy dog eyes, he resigned himself to doing her kindergarten art project. The weather was nice today, and Kai was dressed in casual summer clothes, his short blonde hair ruffling in the breeze. As he bent his head to cut the paper, Kloe saw the sharp, handsome outline of his profile. If this kid were a few years older, my dad wouldn't stand a chance. Kloe, when will your mom be back? Kai asked, glancing at her out of the corner of his eye. She said she'll be back at 10. She's having dinner with Uncle Landon. She thought, I knew it. He's here for my beautiful mom. Too bad for you, kid. You've got my dad and Uncle Landon in your way. Kai asked casually. So, let's chat. Are there any boys you like in your class? No way. Kloe complained internally, but put on an innocent face, her big eyes blinking as she pouted. Mommy says I can't date until I'm 18. Kai gave her a meaningful look, and for some reason he thought of their past life together. When Kai took on the Ace of Hearts case, she had just turned 18. It was indeed an age full of surprises and beauty. A small smile played on his lips as he continued. So what type of boy do you like, Kloe? Kloe had no idea. She wasn't even sure if she liked boys or girls. But for some reason, her past life came to mind. I like boys with dark eyebrows, big eyes, and a really nice side profile. It'd be great if he wore a black uniform, was good at fighting, good at video games, and could also cook, race cars, fly planes. She thought, forgive me, Prosecutor Kai, for using you as an example. Kai had to fight to keep from smiling. A metaphorical wolf's tail was wagging triumphantly behind him. Ace of Hearts. You're describing my past self. You really haven't forgotten me. Kloe's clear eyes blinked. So Kai, what kind of girl do you like? Kai thought silently. I like a little troublemaker who loves to fight, is arrogant and a con artist, but secretly feeds stray kittens. Even though she's bad, arrogant, and sleeps with people and runs, I still love her. Kloe's eyes curved into a smile. Oh my god, he's getting all sweet just thinking about my mom. Dude, don't fall too hard. Kai had company business to attend to. He ruffled Kloe's fluffy hair and left. He instructed his assistant, tell Kloe's kindergarten art teacher to give a craft assignment every week, and make them as difficult as possible. Whenever Landon was free, he would come to see Aara, and he would always bring Jasper with him. Jasper was taking this film very seriously, turning down all his other work for the next 6 months to focus on it. Every time Landon came to see Aara, Jasper would be right there with him, under the guise of the male and female leads getting to know each other and rehearsing. Landon's eyes narrowed as he watched Kloe play a video game. He couldn't help but praise her. Kloe is such a smart kid. She's really good at games. Aiden's lips curved into a smile. Of course. Look who her father is. A tiger doesn't raise a dog. Landon rolled his eyes. Have some shame. And don't you have a home? Why are you always at Aara's house? Aiden scoffed. Don't you have a home? Every time I come here, you're here. Landon gritted his teeth, grabbed his shirt, and dragged him outside. Kloe watched them, confused. What are those two doing? Once they were outside, Landon pulled out his phone. If you really care about Aara, then stop hanging around. She's getting so much hate online, you should be trying to shut those people up, not just watching her get attacked. Aiden was surprisingly calm. Don't worry, it's being handled. Landon didn't believe the jerk for a second. You're handling it? What can you possibly do? Aiden said calmly, I have money. Landon's mouth twitched. I have no comeback to that. Aiden showed him his phone, and Landon was shocked. The internationally acclaimed but banned film from 5 years ago, Fallen Petals, was now available to watch. The internet was buzzing. People were shocked to discover that the lead actress, Aara Rhodes, was the same Quan from Landon's new film. Director Rivers is a master of cinematography. The way she looks in that traditional dress is breathtaking. Aiden was confident. Once those clueless netizens watch Fallen Petals and see how talented Aara is, they'll shut up. Time flew by, and it was the weekend again. Aiden personally came to pick up 5-year-old Kloe and take her to his company headquarters. He had finally figured out what his daughter liked. Strange, unique, interesting, sci-fi, and adventurous things, not pink dolls. Uncle Aiden, does your company really have cute robots? Aiden nodded. Yes. We just got a new batch of smart robots to deliver coffee and food. They're from Silicon Valley, very advanced. If you like them, I'll give one to you. Kloe was thrilled. Yay! Just as Aiden opened his office door, he saw Serafina Cheng inside. Aiden, I brought you some chicken soup. He replied coolly. You don't have to do that. I have people who handle my meals. Serafina shook her head gently and placed the container on the table. I heard you've been working hard lately, and I was worried. The doctor said I don't have much time left. You can't let me leave with regrets, can you? I want to take care of you. Aiden frowned. The best doctors in the country are treating you. You're not going to die. Serafina shook her head sadly, her long eyelashes lowered, as if she had 1,000 sorrows but couldn't bring herself to speak. A perfect damsel in distress. Kloe scoffed inwardly. Look at her clothes, her voice, her expression. She's completely copying Aara. You have a terminal illness? Yeah, right. Uncle Aiden, the chicken soup this auntie made smells so good. Kloe's big dark eyes were fixed on the soup container and she licked her lips. Aiden's expression softened. This auntie is my... Before he could finish, Kloe interrupted. I know. This auntie must be your cook. Kloe's face full of anticipation. Uncle Aiden, can I have some of the cook auntie's chicken soup, please? Of course, I'll get you a bowl, Aiden said, immediately agreeing when he heard his precious daughter wanted some. Kloe blew on the hot soup, took a delicious sip, and then thanked Serafina sweetly. Thank you, cook auntie. The soup is so yummy. Serafina's expression flickered. To see the soup she had painstakingly made be so easily snatched away by a little brat, she almost lost her composure. She took a deep breath and forced a gentle smile. Aiden, whose child is this? I don't think I've seen her before. This is Kloe. She's... Aiden paused. She's my business partner's child. He wasn't ready to reveal Kloe's true identity yet. There were too many unknowns, and he and Aara hadn't reconciled. Keeping her identity a secret was the best way to protect her for now. Business partner. Such a vague term. It was clear Aiden was hiding something, but the more he tried to hide it, the more suspicious it became. Serafina looked at Kloe gently. I have to find out who this little girl really is. If she's a threat to my position, I won't hesitate, even if she's just a child. She knelt down to be at eye level with Kloe and introduced herself kindly. Hello, Kloe, I'm Serafina Cheng. You can call me Sister Serafina. I'm your Uncle Aiden's fiancé, not his private cook. Kloe tilted her head, pretending not to understand. Fiancé? Does that mean you're going to get married? Serafina declared her territory. Yes, I'm going to marry your Uncle Aiden. Aiden panicked and immediately corrected her. Your Auntie Serafina is joking. I'm not going to marry her. Kloe put a finger to her chin, her little brow furrowed as if she didn't understand what the adults were talking about. But Serafina's face changed. She had been claiming to be Aiden's fiancé for 5 years, and this was the first time he had denied it to someone else. You're weak, you shouldn't be out and about. I'll have my driver take you home, Aiden said. A self-deprecating look crossed Serafina's face. She lowered her head like a pitiful Cinderella who had done something wrong. Okay, I'll go then. You take care of yourself. Don't work too hard. As she spoke, her brow furrowed in pain and she clutched her chest, her body swaying as a sharp pain shot through her heart, making her lips turn white. Her congenital heart disease had conveniently decided to act up. Aiden stepped forward, his tone serious. I'll have Old Song take you to the hospital. Her eyes moist, Serafina looked at him pleadingly. Aiden, I'm scared of needles. Can you stay with me? Before she could finish, Kloe, who was on the sofa, started crying out, ouch, ouch, clutching her stomach and rolling around. In an instant, her dad rushed over in a panic. Kloe, what's wrong? Kloe clutched her stomach and wailed pitifully. I'm dying, my tummy hurts so much. Aiden's face went pale with fear. Kloe, don't be scared, I'll take you to the doctor right now. Sir, what's wrong? His assistant Old Song rushed in. Aiden commanded, get every doctor from the company's medical department here with their equipment in 3 minutes. Kloe's stomach hurts. It could be appendicitis, diarrhea, food poisoning. What about Miss Cheng? Only then did Aiden remember the ailing Serafina. You take Miss Cheng to the city's private hospital. Serafina was furious. This was her chance to win Aiden's sympathy, and a little kid ruined it. She glared at Kloe, but the little girl, in a spot where Aiden couldn't see, gave her a defiant look. Serafina was instantly enraged. This kid is faking it! At such a young age, she's already learned how to fake being sick to get attention. She's a natural-born little schemer. Serafina gritted her teeth and shot Kloe a venomous glare. Just you wait. Kloe raised an eyebrow, almost laughing. I'm just using the same tactics you used on my mom, and you're already angry? Anyone can fake being sick. In the original novel, Serafina had used her expert fainting skills to create countless misunderstandings between her mom and dad. The secretary cautiously peeked in. Sir, the medical department is here. Aiden had Kloe lie down on the sofa and covered her with a thin blanket. She continued to cry out, but there were no tears, just a mischievous glint in her big dark eyes. Aiden frowned slightly. Send the medical department back. The secretary was speechless. Yes, sir. Aiden was a little angry. He could tell his precious daughter was faking it. He was silent for a moment, his mind flashing to a book he had just read, How to Be a Good Father, 300 Ways to Educate Your Child. One of the sections was titled, What to Do When Your Child Lies About Being Sick. He felt he had to properly educate his daughter, to be a good father and correct her behavior. So, in a serious tone, he said, Faking being sick is something bad kids do. Kloe paused, rubbing her eyes, her face a mask of innocence. The highest form of acting is when you think I'm acting, but I'm actually making you think I'm acting. Faking being sick makes your mommy worry, and it makes me so worried I can't eat or sleep. Why did you do it? Kloe wrapped herself in the small blanket on the sofa like a little kitten caught stealing fish. I don't like Auntie Serafina. She looked at me funny, scarier than Snow White's stepmother. It really scared me. Aiden shook his head. That's impossible. Your Auntie Serafina is very kind. It's true, Kloe said, looking wronged. And she was faking it too. She was fine when we were leaving, and she gave me a really mean look. Aiden was silent. A 5-year-old probably wouldn't lie on purpose. As for Serafina, he had always known her to be obedient and gentle. He softened his expression and stroked Chloe's soft hair. I understand. I'll look into it. But Kloe, you can't fake being sick anymore. Even if you don't like someone, you shouldn't try to trick them. Understand? Kloe pouted. But I really don't like her. I don't want her to be your fiancé. I want mommy to be your fiancé. Aiden was completely stunned. What? My precious daughter just said she wants Aara to be my wife? Really? His voice trembled. The tall, handsome man was as excited as a teenager. Kloe nodded. Uh-huh. You're very nice to me, so I like you. I want mommy to marry you. In that moment, Aiden felt like his future was bright, his life filled with dazzling sunlight. All his efforts over the past month had finally paid off. His daughter had finally seen the beauty of a father's love. It was all worth it. Don't worry, Kloe. I will protect you and your mother for the rest of my life, Aiden said kindly, his fatherly love overflowing, his gaze on Kloe so gentle it could melt hearts. Kloe said sweetly, I want you and Uncle Landon and the others to protect mommy together. The overflowing fatherly love came to a screeching halt. Aiden raised an eyebrow. What does Landon Rivers have to do with this? Kloe explained logically, You and Uncle Landon are both very nice to mommy. I want her to marry all of you. You can be my first daddy, Uncle Landon can be my second daddy, Uncle Jasper can be my third daddy. As for Kai, he's only 15, so he's not in the running for now. Aiden was now as miserable as he had been ecstatic just a moment ago. Why does Kloe have such a terrifying idea? 3 daddies? Kloe, your mommy can only marry one person, and that's me. Aiden tried to set her straight. Landon wants to be her second dad? In his dreams. Kloe tapped her chin with her finger. Dad, Mom was hurt so badly by you. You think you can win us back in just a month? No way. You have to slowly pay back the emotional debt you owe her. At the very least, not until you see Serafina's true colors will I even consider handing my mom over to you. She lowered her head, reminiscing. You don't know, Uncle Aiden. When I was little, my family was very poor. Mommy worked so hard to make money, she was so tired every day. I was always sick, and one night during a storm we couldn't get a taxi, so she carried me for 3 miles in the rain. Her feet were bleeding. When she got sick, she wouldn't see a doctor. She always said she was fine. She had it really tough, and she loves me so much. But there are always bad people trying to bully her. I want the best mommy in the world to have a lot of people protecting her. Aiden knew how hard Aara's life had been. He would slowly prove his love to her. He would never let her suffer again. At the city's private hospital, Serafina ordered the doctor to investigate Kloe, but the doctor reported that she was just an ordinary child. Serafina squeezed the armrest of her chair. I don't think so. Aiden cares about her too much. I almost suspect she's his daughter. For the first 10 years of her life, she had lived in the slums, surrounded by filth. But fate had been kind to her. Her biological father turned out to be Kale Cheng, the head of the powerful Cheng family in Veridia. She thought her perfect princess life was about to begin. But she soon discovered she was just one of her father's many illegitimate children. A fierce battle for the inheritance began among them. But none of them could compete with the legitimate heir, Kai Cheng. At only 15, he had already taken control of half the family with his ruthless and bloody methods. I don't want to go back to that life, Serafina said flatly. Once you've tasted wealth, you can never escape its allure. A few days later, Kloe had to audition for the small role in Landon's film. She was worried about her mom, especially with Celeste Cow on set. In the novel, Celeste was one of the main villains, jealous of Aara's talent and beauty, and had often targeted her. Kloe had to find a chance to visit her mom and warn her to be careful. Meanwhile, Quan, with a full face of makeup, had her mother take her to the film studio. Mrs. Quan reminded her, "Aiden's song often comes here to check on the film's progress. You have to seize this opportunity to get close to him." The set had been transformed into a street from the early 20th century. As Iris looked around, she heard the frantic ringing of a bell. Someone shouted, "Get out of the way! The rickshaw is out of control!" Just in the nick of time, a pair of strong, warm hands wrapped around her waist and pulled her to safety. The man frowned. "What are you doing here?" Iris blushed. "I'm here to see someone." The man's aura was intense. He noticed her twisted ankle and, with a hint of pity, told a staff member, "Her ankle is sprained. Please get her an ice pack." The staff member quickly agreed. "Of course! You go on, I'll take care of her." After the man left, she immediately asked the staff member, "What's his name? Where does he live? Does he have a girlfriend?" The staff member scratched his head apologetically. "Director Rivers has given strict orders not to reveal too much about the film before its release. I can only tell you that he's one of the actors, and the director thinks very highly of him." Iris rested her chin on her hands, her eyes sparkling. "So he's an actor?" Meanwhile, a slender man in early 20th century attire pushed open the door to the makeup room. Landon's face lit up. "Aara, you're finally back. Quick, we have another scene for you this afternoon. Go change out of this costume." "We're done with your scenes as a man." Aara nodded calmly, her voice androgynous. "Okay." The male makeup artist joked. "Aara, you look so convincing as a man. If I were a girl, I'd definitely fall for you." Just then, a staff member ran in. "Director, this Miss Quan says she's here to see her sister, Aara." Iris composed herself. "Director Rivers, it's a pleasure to meet you again." Landon didn't even look up. "Miss Quan, Aara is changing. This is a restricted area. You have 5 minutes." She pretended to wait for Aara, but she was really just biding her time, her voice a mix of arrogance and curiosity. "Director, one of your actors, the one in the traditional suit with his hair slicked back, he's not very tall, quite slim. He just saved me. Could you tell me his name? I'd like to thank him in person. First his name, then his background. We'll get to know each other, and things will progress from there. With my looks, he'll definitely fall for me."